Let us bow our heads. Father God, we want to thank you for giving us this opportunity to come together this afternoon to look over the projected budget for the fiscal year 26 to 27. Lord, we want to thank you for the presence of everyone here. We ask, Lord, that you give us enlightenment, Lord. We pray for understanding, Lord. Give us the strength to do the things that we have been authorized by the citizens of Vance County to do on their behalf. We pray, Lord, that we are able to carry out our responsibilities that has been entrusted in us, and that as we go forward, Lord, and we ask that you touch each and every heart here and let everyone operate in honesty and in integrity with transparency and do what is best for the citizens of Vance County as well as we know how to do. God, we ask you to be with us as we go forward today. And we thank you, Lord, for giving us this opportunity to work on behalf of your people, Lord. So again, we thank you, Lord, for your wisdom and your understanding, Lord, and your loving kindness, Lord. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. This work session is an important opportunity for us to come together and discuss the proposed county budget in a collaborative and productive way. Our purpose today is to focus on the overall direction, priorities, and structure of the budget. This will not be a line-by-line review. The county manager provided the opportunity for each commissioner to meet with staff between May 5th and today to do line by line. This offer is still on the table for line-by-line review with county staff. This will help keep our time today focused and efficient for everyone. Today, we'll take a broader view, looking at how the proposed budget aligns with our goals for the county and where we may need to adjust. Again, thank you for your continued dedication and partnership in this process. So let's get started.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the first items on your agenda is outside agency presentations, just based off of my proposed budget was flat from last year. So I offered the opportunity for 5 agencies to come and justify their request to the commissioners. So first up, we have Patty from the library.
Thank y'all so much for giving us a chance to talk about the library and both explain where your funding is going. So while our request is an increase, the vast majority of that is for the 3% proposed COLA. All our other line items are basically flat except for professional services, which is our audit, and that was just an increase from the vendor, as well as insurance, which was also an increase from the vendor. And that's our library insurance, our property insurance, the book, the automobile, the board liability insurance, not the health insurance. So I made a brief infographic, and these are stats from last year. And we had over 66,000 visitors last year. And this year we're on track to have at least that many more based so far on the year. We are the only library in the region that's open on Sundays. That's Franklin, Granville, Warren, and I believe also Person. We're the only one that's open on Sundays. Still, our bookmobile is on the road. I don't know if anybody's seen it. You see it in our parking lot, but it's also making stops. I know next week it's gone almost every day. It's going somewhere, and we're adding to that schedule every day for different places. We have both open visits, which are things like going to a park where everybody can go, but we also have items that aren't on our calendar that were closed stops, and that's when we go to a school. So we're just there for the students at that school to visit the bookmobile, and we're adding to those as well through now till the end of the school year, and then they'll pick back up next year. Just a reminder, we did add that bookmobile. We funded the purchase costs completely on the library. We did grants and fundraising, so there was no cost to the taxpayers. And we also did not increase the staff in order to get started. We were able to shuffle some people around and man that bookmobile with no increase in staffing. So that may change depending on, hopefully will change due to the popularity of the bookmobile as it's making more and more stops. We may need to look at adding someone to do that full time instead of splitting duties. But our early literacy programs we have every week. Those are story times, as well as some visits to daycares and preschools and schools. And we have STEM events in the library for older students, everything from Lego to robotics to an anime club. Summer reading will be taking off shortly, which is always big. This year is dinosaurs and fossils. So if you have young people, especially, they all love dinosaurs and paleontology and all that. So we have storytellers and some great programs coming for summer reading. We're also the home of the Vance County Museum. If you haven't visited that, it's on the second floor. And we just recently, with a grant from our Library Foundation and the volunteer efforts of Ken Stiegel, added a large screen that rotates over, I think right now it's 1,400 historical images from around Vance County. You actually see it from downstairs too. It's a very large screen, and he is going to be adding to that. We're very thankful for his volunteer efforts to get those pictures up there. And like I said, the screen and the other electronics were funded through the Library Foundation. And besides loaning things to patrons, we also provide faxing service, and you wouldn't think people send a lot of faxes still. So we send several faxes a day. We also help with mobile printing. A lot of people don't have printers, and we do a lot of, especially labels, people sending things, mailing things, tickets. They may not have a printer. They come in and we do that. That's a big service for our patrons besides our usual things. We did just add our seed library, if you haven't seen that on Facebook. So that's going to be a place where right now people are taking seeds more than leaving seeds. But as the planting seasons end, we're going to be having some programs on how to save seeds so that if people have crops, then they can save some of their seeds and add to the seed library for next year. And we also have plans to expand the makerspace. We're hoping to possibly add a 3D printer. We're looking into a grant for that right now. A lot of libraries are doing that for patrons because sometimes you just want to try one out before you do all that. And also a lot of libraries use the 3D printer to do things to help them as well with holders for the shelf holders and things like that. So I think that will be a good addition. And, we still feel like we're the best bargain in the area. And we are very grateful to both the Vance County Commissioners and the City of Henderson Council for your generous and your support, both monetarily and just personal support. I always tell the directors when I go to the directors meeting that this community supports our library. It's very humbling how much this community really loves the library, and I'm very honored to be able to help with our services. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to.
So what would be the impact if you don't receive the additional funds? And do you have any fund balance that you could use for this year?
Our fund balance is sitting at the recommendation of 3 to 4 months of operations. So, we do have money in our fund balance, but we would like to not deplete it too much because it is right at that threshold. Odds are, we can try to shuffle some things around. We would probably end up not doing the COLA or not doing it at the 3% level. If we fund the COLA, unfortunately, our most variable larger line item is collection development, which are the books and ebook materials. So that would be, that's the place where really we have the most funds to cut. Everything else is either fixed, like insurance, or it's so small it wouldn't make that big a difference.
Have you heard from the city on whether or not they're going to honor your request for your increase?
I have not.
You have not. Okay.
Heard that.
Let me ask you, I see you said you got
Yes.
66,000 person visit a year.
Yes.
And I'm just curious because, I work in Franklin County at high school, and we don't utilize the library as much. And I'm so glad to hear that we still impact and make a difference in our library. Right? My question is, what is the main resource that they come in? Because a lot of people, since we got so much AI and
Mm-hmm.
resources online and internet, what is the main? I heard you say that for the facts, they come into facts and do a lot of things. So is reading still a big part, or what are the main
Yes.
resources for just coming into to have that many?
It's really probably pretty equal. I mean, I think, people come in for each thing equally. We have a lot of people that still use our computers upstairs. They either need assistance with something, or they may not have Wi-Fi at home. We have a fair number of people that come in with their devices so that they don't have unlimited data.
Mhm.
You may just see them sitting around. A lot of times they're on their phones or they're on their iPads because they don't have data. There are many mornings that I come in and there'll be maybe someone's gotten off a late shift and they'll be in the parking lot because our Wi-Fi, we extended it during COVID so that it reached out into the parking lot, and it's on 24/7. So we actually have a fair number of people that use our Wi-Fi as well. But we circulate a good number of books, and especially now that we're part of NC Cardinal with that larger, we can get you almost anything. It may take a couple of days from another library, but we share between libraries. So we still do a fair number of checkouts as well. So I would say all our services get used pretty equally.
Well, it's good to hear. Because it was for my curiosity, because
Yes.
by the library that we had, to see it not being utilized like it should be. So that's why I just wanted to ask the question: what is the circulation, or what the main purpose? Thank you so much.
Sure.
And so if we don't grant the capital request, I think you're looking for $75,000 for HVAC, right? You want to talk a little bit about the issues that you're having with your HVAC units as well?
So our library is, if you can believe it, the new building is 20 years old this year. There are, I want to say 18, that may be 19 or 17 HVAC units on our roof that control that building. It's a large building. The life of the HVACs is 15 to 20 years. We have already had 3 that have had to be replaced, and they're about $20,000 a piece to replace. So we did those and pulled from fund balance to do those a couple of years ago. So the finance committee on the board wanted us to open a plan to just go ahead and proactively start replacing them over the next, 2 years now. Is this last year, and then the next 2 years. In speaking with Gupton's, it was going to be, like I said, there's around 20,000 a unit. So the amount was 300. I'm sorry, I can't do the math in my head, but we were asking for 100, of which, and actually don't tell the city. Used to be the amounts it was split 75-25. A few years ago, it changed to 85-15, and I forgot when I said 75-25. So I was asking y'all for 75 and then for 25 for the next 3 years to facilitate scheduling out, replacing those HVAC units.
Okay. I would like to say I appreciate everything that you all are doing here in Vance County. I'm probably the commissioner who uses the library more than any of the other commissioners. I'm down
Absolutely.
there very frequently.
Yes.
And I appreciate all of the services that you all are providing, from having independent conference rooms when individuals want to meet privately for whatever reason. I appreciate, the new computer room that you are trying to set up now. I understand you're having some issues with that, and I hope that everything will work out well with that. I appreciate the notary services that you have available. So if anyone needs a notary public, they don't have to run all over town trying to find one. You have one that's available Monday through Friday. She's did a number of notary services, for me and, some of my clients. I appreciate the space that you have available in terms of different tables set up where people can have private sessions and meetings and have privacy to use the library materials. I understand that you all having a book sale coming up. Is it Saturday?
we do.
And I wish you luck with that as well. And I just want to say thank you. I don't know what I would have done at times if you all had not been there. I know you open at 10 o'clock. So
Thank
people ask me, I say it's 10 o'clock. I've even had some friends and colleagues from Granville come over here and use the library as well.
We do.
One of the things we have now in our court system is the e-court. So by having computers available, it enables people to come in, like you said, who don't have private computers. They can come in and if they are not members and have their own private numbers, they can get a code where they can get on the computer and they can look up anything that they need to look up. I've seen various people come in for different reasons. I appreciate not only the computers, but also the copying services, and you all even provide free services for people who need to, what is that, when you scan services. And I just think you all are doing an excellent job, and I hope everything will continue to work out well. And, I appreciate, I know a couple of years ago, we had to make that decision whether or not to keep the library open on Sunday. I was on that committee where we met with the city and some city council members and city officials, and as well as some of the other commissioners, and we decided to leave the library open on Sunday so that people who didn't have an opportunity during the week to use library services would have an opportunity to come on Sundays, either individually or with their families to use the services. And I actually enjoy the things that you all offer. I enjoy seeing the children come in and the different programs that you have available for the children. You can hear the little children in the backgrounds in their designated area, and they're really, you can tell they're enjoying story time, especially on those days when school is out and the little kids, need somewhere to go. Open your doors, and the kids, they come in and they're really enjoying themselves. They're clapping and laughing and singing. And I just want to say thank you for all that you do.
I appreciate that. We also, we recently started a partnership with the early college, the STEM school down at the Henderson High School, and they walk up, there's 4 classes, so two on Tuesday and 2 on Thursday, and they walk up with the teacher, and because of our, our student access program, if they don't have a card, they can all check out books using their Vance County school ID. And they come up, they leave with our staff. We always have extra people at the desk because they all check out several books every time they come. So that's been a really successful partnership.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you.
Thank you.
So next up is Vance County Schools.
Good afternoon. First, let me say thank you so much for your continued funding and the continued increased funding over the past 5 years. I would say during my tenure here as superintendent, you have been very gracious with the limited funds that the county has. I also want to say to you, with the consolidation this year and other things that we have done, we continually try to make sure that we have right-sized the district, which in turn will benefit us financially. However, I must say, even with the closing of 2 schools, there is limited funding that we have total control over. In other words, the staffing cost will still be there. They'll be shifted to another school, as well as the per pupil funding that we receive from other sources, again, still will be used. But there will be savings, and we will use those to the best of our ability. When we say staffing, our state has already provided for us preliminary staffing numbers from state allocation. That tells us very specifically how carefully we must be with our hiring. Looking at right now, we're anticipating 69 vacancies next year. it's not all a bad thing, because we are being very careful and very meticulous with those positions. In fact, that we will need to hire a person in, making sure that we have fully right-sized according to the reduction in our enrollment. I also want to say we are looking at every aspect of how our money is spent, doing program analysis, looking at the impact of the money that we're spending. We are serious about return on investment, even down to the point of looking at our computers, which we have tried to replace our laptop program for students and staff with a 3-year cycle, moving it to possibly a 5-year cycle. So again, thank you for giving us an opportunity to speak. I'll ask Mr. Souther, our CFO, to come forward and share with you the specifics. But again, we are trying to be good stewards of all funding that we receive, federal, state, and local. Thank you.
Good afternoon. As you're aware, Vance County Schools is requesting a $13.8 million budget request for this upcoming year. That's inclusive, that's just for local funds, and that's inclusive of fully funding the supplement for certified and non-certified staff. We're also requesting capital needs fund of $975,000. So yeah, the bulk of this increase is for fully funding the supplements for all of our staff members. But when you take away that part, which is approximately $3.1 million, the rest of the increases are based on what we are anticipating from the state for salary increases of potentially 3% plus an increase in retirement and hospitalization rates for next year. The governor's budget has been released, and those numbers are out there publicly. We are also planning a 5% increase for utilities and non-salary costs for next year. So that's a ballpark figure. There could be up or down. But at this time, we just don't know that much. But of course, we all know what's going on, especially with fuel prices at this time. I'm assuming you've had time to review our request. Do you have any questions? And I know Mr. Perdue is with us, and he can talk about capital outlays expenditures. Dr. Bennett stole my thunder a lot. No, you're fine. And but we'll be glad to entertain any questions you have at this time.
So, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. I'll go after you.
You still have debt service on the building at LB Yancey's being closed? And
LB Yancey's not being closed. No, New Hope and Carver. Yes, sir.
Carver, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
You do have debt service?
We pay all, I believe this year is when we pay it off in 2026. We make our final payment this year, actually.
Okay. And what is that debt service is how much?
The total for both of our debt services is $300 and some $1,000. I don't know off the top of my head. I didn't bring that, but we have two going on, the QZAB and QSCAB, and it's just over $300,000 for both. I can send that information over.
All right. What are your plans with those facilities?
At this moment, we do not have any plans for that. When the time is right and we are fully moved out, we will be coming back to the county as giving you all first right of refusal for those two sites at this moment. But right now, at this very moment, we do not have any plans for those two sites.
What is your ADM like over the past 3 years? Is it increasing or decreasing?
Our ADM continues to decrease between the reduction in birth rates, and then also we have more students going to charter schools with the opening expansion of more charter schools in our area, and then also with opportunity scholarship. Of course, that funding comes from the state, and those parents, if they see fit, or those families, they see fit, they want to send their children to private school, they certainly can, and use that opportunity scholarship. We have had an increase in that as well. And then we do have a lot of homeschool children in our area too.
We get some numbers on the ADM over the past, let's say, 5 years.
Sure, I can certainly send that over. I have it back in the office actually.
It's about like a 35%.
Pardon?
It's like a 35% decrease.
Not
In the past 10 probably.
Yeah, we are running a couple of hundred less each year for the past 5 years, which equates to the increase in charter enrollments. And last year, just over $3 million in opportunity scholarships for students who live in this county were used for private schools.
And just a reminder, any funding that you all do give us in local funds, approximately 33% flows through to our charter schools.
Would there be a significant savings from the day-to-day operation by the closing of 2 schools being closed? I know the maintenance and the service of the running of the building, day-to-day operation maintenance, would it be a significant savings to the school system?
Yes, absolutely.
So once the buildings have been disposed of, used by the school district, of course, we'll continue to have to maintain minimal heat, keep anything from freezing in the winters. We'll have to still mow the lawns and keep the buildings up to a minimal standard. So once we have disposed of the buildings, the cost back to us will, certainly increase, but certainly a savings. We won't have custodial services at the facilities anymore. We'll save that money. And then the utilities such as the water will go away because there will not be water use. But in the end, once the building's completely vacated, the savings will be much larger than they will be initially. We'll say it that way. In the upkeep part, we will not have to do, any HVAC repairs and stuff like that again. So that money will help us do more things across the 8 other elementary schools later on. The playground won't have to be maintained. It'll be a lot of savings once the buildings are no longer in our possession. We'll say it that way.
And how long do you see that process taking?
We have set a goal once we move out over the summer that by October we have the facilities emptied out, and then we'll at that point in time return back to the county to see about what the county's interest is, or if the county would like to take possession of one or both buildings. If not, we would follow the same process we did with disposing of the Western Vance and Eaton Johnson facilities and put them out for public bid. And that money, of course, can come back to the district for use for facility repairs. And that's the designation. That money by state statute has to be used. So we couldn't use it for salaries or bonuses or anything like that. It has to go back into the buildings, we'll say, at that point.
And I will say that we are currently in the audit stage of what is there that we could use in another facility. Even our outdoor learning environments that we were able to obtain or purchase, I should say, through ESSER funds can be transitioned as added resources for some of our other schools, as well as our investment in the fitness playground materials. That also means security cameras and other things that are in the buildings can be used. We have not been able to increase the number of cameras and increase the security service to the level we would like to at all of the schools. They all have security cameras, but even that, those materials and resources and Wi-Fi hotspots and things like that, we have a place and a purpose for.
Dr. Bennett, I guess I'm looking for in terms of when you say you're losing students in terms of, the student population decreasing. But that's happening all around us. I always believe that when you have rooftops and people moving to the area, that the school population will increase. As I look to Granville County, they've gotten a lot of rooftops, but at the same time, they're closing a couple of schools also. When you all were innovative in looking at converting Henderson Middle School into the kind of educational hub that you have, are you finding in terms of your dealing with the state and other schools across, are you finding that winds up being an asset to school system for what you all have done at the middle school?
Yes, sir, absolutely. And when we look at, and we'll get the actual numbers, but when we look at the decrease in enrollment over the past 5 years, it has been minimal compared to other districts with similar demographics and similar economic status. If all of the charters that were currently here 5 years ago were fully their enrollment was full. And if there were not additional charter schools that had opened, and if, lots of ifs, but if the opportunity scholarship funding from the state had not increased tremendously or relaxed in some ways as far as requirements, I feel comfortable in saying that our enrollment would not have dropped a couple of hundred that it has. Every month at every board meeting, without exception, we are having students request to enter the district. But again, those entering the charters and opportunity scholarships are sort of negating some of the entrance. So we're still hopeful that the full build out of the charters, although we know there are more coming, will slow down the decrease that we are having. Because right now we have a considerable number of students from Warren County. We have a considerable number of students from other counties who have requested to attend schools here. Homeschool network, I would say across the state has increased. We're serving approximately 73, 74% of the market share. In other words, of the students who actually live physically in this county and are eligible to attend the public schools. And that's been consistent for the past 6 to 8 years. There are just fewer of them.
It was my understanding was charter schools were formed. They were formed as sort of where you as public schools were not able to do certain things that charter schools were able to do. And it's supposed to be like a model for the public schools. Are your hands still tied as to the kinds of things that charter schools can do and you can't do?
Absolutely, sir. They are not required to provide transportation. They are not required to provide school meals. There are a lot of things that would hinder students from going there. However, their flexibilities instructionally and with testing expectations and requirements are different. They still test, but the expectations are different. Charter schools can also refuse enrollment of a student. Our doors are open to all.
And just to piggyback on that too, charter schools are not required to participate in the state retirement program. So that is a huge cost for us. Approximately 25% goes to state retirement. So if you think of a person who's making $100,000, then we as a district are paying $25,000 for going into the retirement system. So that's another huge thing that charter schools don't have to pay for. Obviously some do contribute to the retirement system, but not all of them do.
Do you all maintain a fund balance?
Yes, ma'am. We have a fund balance of $1.9 million currently. That was at the end of fiscal year 2025, June 30th, 2025.
You said
And
25
I'm
million?
pleased to say with a 1.9, although it is much smaller than we wish it was, we have been increasing a little. We are very tight with a budget. And again, we do pay serious attention and close attention to the return on our investment, even with contracts and everything that we purchase. It has to be aligned to the vision and mission of the district. We have to have data to support the impact or we let it go. So yes, the fund balance is minimal at 1.9, but we have been able to increase it a couple of $100,000 a year at most.
Okay. And I have a couple of other questions. I know a couple of years ago, you sold 2 schools. One was the former Western Vance, and one of the buildings that was part of Eden Johnson. In terms of the revenue that you all generated, how did you manage? What did you do with that particular revenue?
So ironically enough, we put roofs and painted New Hope and Culver with those funds. At the time, they were in great need of roofs and painting, but they went back into our facilities. That money is, like say by state statute, has to go to that. We have a plan, a schedule of facilities that need roof replacements. And as we replace roofs, of course, if you've had leaks, you've got interior damage that needs to be repaired. So the painting follows behind of that. So that's what we've done and continue to do through all of our schools on a cycle.
And so, if the 2 elementary schools that was mentioned earlier aren't closed, will you be going through the same type of sales process that you did, where you put it out and people actually submitted bids to see who would actually win the bid for those buildings? Are you going to?
Absolutely. Again, if our board finalizes their decision indicating we have no use for the facilities, they will come back to the county to determine if you have a use for them.
Okay.
If not, they come back and then the bid process and things that we've used in the past will be used for the sale of those said properties.
And what impact is the current lottery money having on your on our school system here in Vance County?
Not as great as those commercials on the TV show. So the money that we typically do, we have to apply back to the county for those funds. And we have been over the last couple of years, again, replacing roofs and painting the facilities. So it is a process. This past summer, we painted and replaced the roof at Pinkston Elementary School. We are developing plans currently to replace the roof and repaint the interior of Vance County Middle School. So those process, like I said, that money builds up into an account and then we apply down for it. We had an emergency repair. We had a main electrical panel that caught fire at E.M. Rollins School last year. We had to make an application, an emergency application for that to get that repaired. Kids were out of school for about 5 days. The electrician turned the work around. And if it were not for those funds, we would not really have anywhere but fund balance to go to for that money. So we're grateful for the money, but although it's just not as plentiful as some may think it is to do the work that we need done.
So has there been a decrease in the amount of money that we're getting from the lottery?
It's
in
it's
the
been
last couple of
fairly steady at times. The state has added some additional money to it. During COVID, the revenue seemed to be up for sales tax revenue because so many people couldn't do certain things but had to buy a lot of things. So based on that, there have been some things that have raised that money incrementally. But again, it's not enough money there to go out and build a brand new facility. It's enough to help us maintain our facilities.
This is out of curiosity and everything. With the closing of the two schools and transporting the kids, I assume that you will send them to the closest school to them. Do you anticipate a longer bus drive ride for them or an increase in gas costs and everything? What are you looking at there?
So with the two facilities closing, we'll start at Carver. With Carver, those kids would go to E.O. Young Elementary. And overall, we have seen a decrease in bus travel time that the kids would ride the bus on average from going from the Carver School to E.O. Young School. Some of that district, the kids actually passed E.O. Young School
Carver.
to go to Carver.
Okay.
So that's why that mileage and that has decreased. Now at New Hope going to Dabney, if you will think of it this way, that line goes all the way back to Spring Valley. Some of those kids in that district are actually closer to Dabney, theoretically, to get to school rather than having to go all the way to New Hope and back that way. So the route that would normally be split on that road, where half the kids already went to Dabney and half went to New Hope, they would all now be going to Dabney, so their ride time would decrease. Now, our further north students, you would just consider the additional time it would take to get from New Hope Elementary School to Dabney, and we've timed that to be about 16, 17 minutes. So that would be the largest increase. But with cutting some of the distance that we had on the other side of the line, on average, we don't feel that we're going to make the impact that great, maybe 10, 12 minutes on average to the further north students. So it's not going to be much of an additional travel time.
I'm gonna tell you something interesting. I used to drive the school bus. I did Spring Valley Road 50 years ago. I did Spring Valley Road, went to LB Yancey, dropped off the kid, went to LB, now I go Spring Valley Road, under the underpass, Oxford Road, picked up the kids off the road, brought them back to LB Yancey, then back to Henderson Institute. That was a long bus drive.
Absolutely,
That was
absolutely.
eons ago.
I know you said you was anticipating 69 vacancy next year. My question is, with the steady enrollment or the declining of some students because of the charter school, and I know you all reach out to the international teachers. Are you all, because I know this could be costly, I imagine, as well. Will you all still be reaching out, bringing in international teachers, considering?
Yes. With the proposed or the expected vacancy number of 69, we've maintained around 30 vacancies the entire year. The additional vacancies that we're looking at right now have to do with year 5 international teachers who must return, okay, as well as those retiring or a few who are actually resigning. Again, making sure we're right sizing based on the number of students in each location, and we're looking at consolidation of EC services from a sprinkling across the district to more centralized in quadrants, I'll say, service, we will need potentially fewer teachers there. So we are just being very strategic in how we staff. We will look at hard to fill areas such as exceptional children, especially for international staff. The international staff who we have received tend to be very, very strong. But again, we are having to be very cautious in the number that we bring in because of the fee structure that's also attached to that.
I think it's a wonderful thing. I'm just, because I know
Sure.
we're considering costs.
Absolutely.
And so I know a
Yes.
lot of them are great. They're great teachers.
We have in the past some years brought in 12 plus. We're looking at no more than 4 this
Okay.
year. So yes, we are being very careful and cautious with that.
Question. Last year, you came before this board. You were intending to apply for a grant that was available at the state level, and you asked, would we match the funds? And we did agree to do that. Unfortunately, we weren't given the grant. Do you all intend to reapply this year for that same or
Yes,
similar
yes,
grant?
ma'am. We are going to apply for that grant again this year. Absolutely.
Approximately when will you be applying for that?
It'll be September, August. It opens in the end of July.
And approximately how much is that grant?
For elementary schools, it's tier based, depending on the elementary, middle, or high. So I think elementary is about 45 million, and then 55 and 65 million.
One of the things that we are clearly aware of, looking at the patterns or the trends over the past few years, these grants are awarded to districts who are not looking at refurbishing or repairing, but building a new structure. Having said that, we are having some conversations with different groups across the state who have been very successful in partnering with districts to write the grants for them. So we definitely are intending on writing another grant. Again, it very well may be based on the information that we have, what's feasible for our community and the board's preference, that instead of looking at refurbishing of facilities, it could potentially be for a new facility where older facilities are closed and you continue the merger, or the additional wing on a facility that we already have that would allow us not to use a 50-year-old facility, but have a new wing where students could go.
I wish you luck, and I pray that Vance County will be the recipient this year. Unfortunately, we didn't get it last year, but hopefully things will be different for the upcoming application for the grant money.
I think the legislature set to act this week on some funding for teachers. And also, I think the Supreme Court recently struck down Leandro. What effect does that have on our teachers and on our school system with funding?
Well, as far as Leandro, we didn't have the money before, so we don't have it now, unfortunately. Obviously, there's a lot of talk going on. Of course, General Assembly's in session, and the governor's released his budget, I believe, and of course, the Senate and House need to do theirs. There's increases in potentially a 3% for non-certified, and I'm not sure about the certified salary increases for next year. There's also discussions, Senate Bill 990, if you all have time to read that. It's one section of it where the General Assembly is considering weighted student formulas, which is different from the way we get allotted money now. So different groups of students may cost different amounts of money to service them. And so the state is looking at changing the way we receive funding for students. Of course, now we're based on ADM, but that could potentially change. I doubt next year. It's too quickly to do that, but there's definitely talk, and it's in Senate Bill 990 right now, to start a focus group and to look in how much that would cost and how that would work. So that's something down the road that would negatively impact us actually by $1.9 million, Vance County Schools. And honestly, it would negatively impact all districts if they were to do a net neutral budget.
I guess there's a misnomer out there. I think a lot of the teachers in advocating for additional supplements and so forth, they cite that Vance County is ranked number 83 out of 100 counties in funding. But when you add in all of the funding from the state and the federal, we're ranked in 65. And I've gotten this information from the NCAC handbook. And that was prior to the $500 that we gave last year. That being said, this book also has performance standards. And in several of the areas, in third grade reading efficiency, we're 112 out of 115. In high school graduation rates, we're 111 out of 115. Is there a way to structure the supplements to performance so that as we improve, they could make more money? Is there a way to do that?
Absolutely. There are a lot of different things you can do, but before I give some comments on that, let me just say there are so many variables at play with the state performance data. We are nowhere near where we want to be. When we consider 30-plus vacancies the entire year, when we look at average daily attendance of students being extremely low, that's nationwide.
The 20-day rule doesn't apply anymore, does it?
Pardon?
The 20-day absent rule doesn't apply anymore, does it?
Well, it applies if they have 10 consecutive days, we must drop them from the roll. But as long as they show up one time within 10 days, they can remain on the roll. But understanding that significant challenges across the state and the nation right now are students who are chronically absent, who have missed 20 plus and some 50 plus days of school. So having said all of that, we are working on all of those issues, and I've had conversations with numerous folks around that. Can you restructure your local supplement? It becomes part of the board policy. The board has a policy now on local supplement based on the funding that we have, who is entitled to it. I think what you're suggesting or mentioning there is a performance-based supplement, and the fact that they only would, those who are in instructional positions would only receive the supplement if they could demonstrate growth and proficiency. That would then eliminate any teacher who is teaching very effectively in an area where there is not a state assessment. So it becomes very complex. Now, the state does offer a local performance bonus for those teachers who are in the top 25% of the state in performance, as well as a smaller state supplement for those who are in the top 25% of the county. And I would like to say that consistently, we have 12 to 15 to more teachers who are in the top 25% of the state. That is one of those things that I wish more people could know about us, and we do try to publicize that, because that is showing the needle is moving in the right direction, much slower than we wish it was. But to say that Vance County, who's 111, 112, 113 out of 115, overall performance, has a dozen or more teachers in the top 25% of growth and efficiency in the state. There are good things that are happening, but again, at a much slower momentum than we wish. I'll go back to your original question by saying yet again, the local board writes the policy as to how the local supplement, whatever the amount, is distributed. And that would be something that the local board would have to look at and decide that the local supplement could only be based on performance. Again, it would exclude a high percentage of the teachers that we have who do not teach in an area that is tested by state assessment.
Y'all have any more questions? We love
Along
to
the
talk
line of
about school.
performance, Dr. Bennett, tell me, you talk about the teacher, you have I won't use a cuss word, but you could have a teacher that is really fantastic. But if she has a group of students that that's not engaging and refuse to be engaged, I hear a lot of that going on. She could work her behind off and they would bring her scores down. And she'd be a great teacher. Performance-based would be great. But because of what she has to work with, it doesn't show up.
It's a delicate balance of skill and will and art, sir, if I may say.
And looking at your budget and looking at the things that you all are paying out as a whole, have you all already looked at other ways to like put limits in place? Because I know different things come out of different buckets. And so like limited travel allowance, limited, different things. Have you all already looked at those as well?
Absolutely. We earlier this year we put a stop to all out-of-state travel. We have put in place where employees can only go to a certain number of conferences or meetings. Also, we are cutting back on contracts as far as software and working with outside agencies or outside individuals who come in and contract with us. So we are looking at a lot of different multifaceted approaches into cutting costs as much as we can. We are very fortunate here. We have a really robust in-house professional development program that Dr. Bennett helped implement, and others have taken up the mantle with that. So we do a lot of in-house PD that meets state requirements. And I know Dr. Bennett can talk more about that. So we don't have to send all of our staff out to all these multiple places.
Yeah, I do see that online, like all of the different training that you all bring the people to central office or go out to the different schools. So I do see that all the time.
Yes, and as John said, we have eliminated for staff all out-of-state travel. That's inclusive of all of us. That no one's exempt from that. I don't travel out of state. None of us do. And when we are having multiple folks attend a particular meeting, if it's available via Zoom, that's our option. It's not to travel. And if multiple folks are attending a meeting or a conference, then one person is paid for travel, and our preference is they use a district vehicle. So we have really had to tighten down some things like that. Instead of several people being, comfortable driving and then requesting travel reimbursement, no. District vehicles going on, that's the vehicle that we're paying for. They can drive, but they are not able to ask for reimbursement. So it was a little hard to swallow to begin with, but we've been doing that for some time and really tightening that down. Again, we really are, several years back, we said we had moved to a slim fast budget. Now we're just on a fasting budget.
Mhm.
But we are really trying to do our own due diligence and be very cautious with our spending.
I have one more question. I understand that in the court system, if a defendant forfeits his bond, then that money comes to you all. Is there a trend now? Are you getting more money or less money from those bond forfeiture funds?
Yes, ma'am. We have received more money every year in the past couple of years, especially this year. We've received more fines and forfeitures money is what you're referring to that comes to us now. So that's definitely been an increase that we have seen as far as revenue. Just on a side, thankfully, we don't have to count that money anymore. It's not cash. It's actually a direct deposit into our bank account. So we do appreciate that. And because it used to be a time when the cash was brought into our building and we had to sit there and count all that cash that came from those people. So that's just an aside, but we do appreciate getting a check or actually ACH into our bank account now with that. But there has definitely been an uptick in the receiving those revenues.
For the past couple of years, I've been asking for a breakdown of teachers and other administrative individuals. How can we get that information?
Who works where or salary information?
Teachers that have that actually teach versus people who are in administrative positions.
John, all of that's posted.
Yes, yes. Part of that is posted on our website per state law now, and the rest of it we can send over to the office and have them distribute it to you all. We can certainly send that over.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, with the state's increase in transparency, expectations, and requirements, much of the information around salaries, around employees is currently posted on our district website. So you can see who and their position and their salary.
Absolutely. We are, there are a lot of eyes, as you all know. There are a lot of eyes that look at a lot of different things for public entities, even down to our website. We get audited on our website. So it comes from many different ways. But one of the state laws now is we have to post that information on our website now. And we were actually audited on it too. Do y'all have any other questions?
I just want to say, I know a lot of questions been thrown at you all today, but we do want you to realize that we do value our public education and our system. And we should as a county, because, our students, to grow our students and to educate our students. But we do want you to know, we're not trying to take, we want to make sure that we, because times are changing. And like I said, there's a lot of questions being thrown, but I want you all to know we do value our public education, our public schools and our students.
Thank you for saying that. You've demonstrated that as a Board of Commissioners over the past years, and we too do our due diligence. We do not mind the questions.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much.
And we would love for y'all to come visit us. Absolutely. Come see what's going on in our schools. It's a lot going on in our schools. It's not just sit and get anymore. It's definitely more to it than a letter grade or something that we see in a report from the state. But we have a lot of good things going on. We got a lot of good people, a lot of good kids, and we are making a difference with y'all's help. So thank you so much for everything you do for us.
I want to say I visited your school. I visited Southern High School this morning, and they had the awards program. It was a very nice awards program to see the achievements and everything the young folks had made. And I think Dr. Ben, I shared this one kid that's impressed. I think I told you, I think he did an exchange last year in Russia. And he plans to go back to Russia this coming year. And I was extremely impressed with him.
Absolutely. And Mr. Kelly was there this morning at the high school. And I will say, last word, promise, there were several students who had earned their HVAC certification. There was a member in the audience sitting on the bleachers with me who said, I'm going to hire that guy today. And isn't that amazing? Because we, in fact, have hired our own staff, our own students who are now on our staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Carts is next.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just want to go over some statistics I started with the last time I came to visit so that you can understand where we're coming from, okay? So in FY '23, CART spent an additional $281,000 providing transportation to the citizens of this county, no others. In FY '24, we spent $300,000. In FY '25, we spent $350,000 out of the CART's budget to pay for these services. Through January, or the end of, I should say December, so far, we've passed your rope allotted funds by $138,000, providing transportation to the citizens of Vance County. Now, where do these funds come from and go to? These funds are funds that CART's makes to provide these services through contracted services. When we contract with an organization, albeit DSS, senior centers, everything, we pay or we charge their fully allocated cost, what it cost us to do the job. Those funds come in, and those funds are intended to help CARTs build. Right now, our drivers, the best we can offer a starting salary is $13 an hour. That's hard to compete with somebody sitting in a sub shop making sandwiches for $15 an hour. Our staffing is the worst issue we have keeping these buses on the road. We have two grants that were given from the state. One is called the Rural State Operating Grant, and the other one's the 5310 Elderly Disabled Grant. I apply for these each year. These grants have a 50-50 match. So out of $422,000 for the Rural State Operating Grant, we need $221,000 to match it. Now, we're allowed to use funds like your rope funds in the other counties to show this is where the match came from. But folks, that's a shell game. That's not dollars in our pocket to help carts be better than what we are now. That's simply saying, we use these funds, sign off on it, you're done. It didn't get us anywhere. So I approached all 4 counties last year. I'm approaching all 4 counties this year. And I'm asking for that 50% match. Now, last year, I split it 4 counties. This year, I have split it by the percentage of the trips that are provided in each county. Your county falls in that 36%. 36% of the trips CARTS performs, it's performed for a citizen of Vance County. That equated to last year, 58,318 people or trips for people were completed just in Vance County. 58,000 trips. 333,000 miles we traveled moving the folks for Vance County. 333,000 miles. When I asked for that split, 36% came up to $79,000. $79,000 that we could put in the bank and we could use for your citizens, nobody else's. We're not putting this in a bucket and spinning it out to whomever calls. This is for the citizens of Vance County. But that gives us an opportunity to help our employees, to help pay for gas. I'm sure everybody understands that inconvenience right now. That's on top of, yes, the $49,000 that is required for the other 2 grants that were given that has always been in the system, the 5311, the administrative and capital grant. That was $49,000 for a total of $129,000 is what I was asking for this year. Without these funds, I can't guarantee you that we're going to be able to continue. Well, I won't even say that. We will not be able to continue to provide the service to your citizens and everybody else's. We just don't have the money. That equates to, and if we had stopped once the funds that you received from the state, the rope funds last year, it would have affected 25,000 trips, almost half the trips that we did for this county. There was no funding for. I hope I drive home the point. I'm asking all 4 counties to help carts. If you decide you don't want to, albeit because others don't or something, whatever the reasoning is, know that it's your citizens that are going to be affected, nobody else's. Any questions? And I'll get you back on time.
I know when you came here, there were some significant deficiencies in the fund balance.
There
Where are
was.
we on that now? How is that? I mean, I know you've done some great positive work to turn things around.
We did. As a matter of fact, my finance manager who's sitting over there, she and I sat down, and in the first 3 months of being at CARTS, we cut $250,000 worth of expenses out of CARTS budget. We have trimmed it down to the point that there's no more trimming. The other thing we've been able to accomplish are new vehicles. We have replaced over half of the fleet with government funds, state dollars. So our expenses for maintenance, when you have buses with 300,000 miles on them, they're constantly breaking down. Now we have a fleet where I have to search for a bus with over 100,000 miles on it. They're all in great shape. There's other factors too that you need to understand as well. We just found out. So last year, the insurance that we have for our property, our vehicles, has now exceeded $500,000 a year. Workers' comp takes it up to, I think it's around 540, 580, including workers' comp. Now we get a letter from our health insurance company that tells us that our health insurance is going up 50%. So now that's approaching almost $500,000. The two combined, the two types of insurance combined, our bill will be over $1 million this year to keep these buses on the road, just for insurance.
I have a question. Cars decided to eliminate the around town shuttle,
Mhm.
and implemented a flex,
Mhm.
ride type program.
Mhm.
Has that met with is that meeting your expectations?
It absolutely is. Thank you for asking that question. So the state, when I came here, the state had already chosen the city of Henderson to try a microtransit project. I had nothing to do with it, other than the fact I had to fill out the application and I had to get a vehicle to do it with. They handed us over 300 and some odd $1,000 for technology. So when we were using the software that we were using to schedule our trips was costing carts $80,000 a year just for the software. And then the tablets and the buses. Through that grant, I was able to get our new software, new tablets for the buses and services, all paid for by that grant for 3 years. So this year and the next 2 years, we will not be seeing another $80,000+ bill for software. So that's a huge savings. The microtransit project, I really was skeptical. I really was. But I'll tell you this, the around town shuttle, in the last 2 months that it ran, it had 200 trips, 200 people, or 200 times somebody got on the bus the entire month. That was Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Right now, we're running the microtransit. We start at 6 o'clock in the morning if we need to, and we run until 6 at night. Last month, we did almost 500 trips in the month. And I get tickled with it because I have elderly individuals at $6 a boarding, and everybody goes, wow, $6, that's a lot. I have an elderly individual, this nice lady, she gets on and she'll book her trip. And she'll go from her home to the bank, to the grocery store, to the pharmacy, and then go back home. And it's like, you realize how much money you're spending? She goes, yeah, but I got my own private taxi. And it's a lot cheaper than a taxi. So she's happy with that. And hey, use it. That's what it's there for. But it's doing well. But it's not even that. It's the program itself that allotted us a good amount of funding. Getting back to your question,
So
this is what I'm talking about when I say we overspent. Okay.
So in terms of getting the word out to the citizens of the availability of the flex rides and how to go about it, do you have literature spread throughout the county so that people will know on what avenues to take to get in touch with whoever they need to get in touch with to make arrangements for these particular types of rides,
Yep.
such as, giving, brochures, anything, or flyers or something at the senior center or DSA, different places.
We do that. We have, so part of that grant also for it, part of it was advertising. And we have done 2 major blasts. We've put out mail out cards to mailboxes in thousands of homes. We do it every quarter. It's all paid for by the grant. To get back to your question, you asked me financially. I'm going to step out of my safe zone here and tell you. So 6 months after I started here, carts had gone from walking out with their hat in their hand, and I realized that happened before I got here, and had I been here, it wouldn't have happened. We had $1 million in the bank. At the end of that year, we had 750. At the end of last year, we had 350. Now at the end of this year, hopefully we have enough to get started next year. Those are the funds I'm talking about when we overspend. we don't bring in enough to keep money in the bank, to keep us solid. Any other questions? Please seriously consider this request. Sure.
So have you heard from the other counties yet, whether or not they're going to match the grant?
I've not heard anything from any of the counties. I've
Okay.
heard hearsay from the other counties, but we have a board meeting that we're trying to get to,
Tonight?
myself and Ms.
Okay.
Perry tonight,
Okay.
and I will let you know.
Okay, I'm just curious because if the other counties don't match, how would you come up with the difference for the match? That's my question.
We'll have to use phony money out of the grants and say, okay, we use that for these trips, and it'll match what the rural state operating does, what it's offering trips for. You're basically matching trip for trips, even though you have other money.
Okay,
But if I have a county that helps us, your funds will be used for your county.
okay. So, but the written agreement that we have between the counties, we would be outside of that agreement then, correct? If we offer additional funds outside of, I think, the 43 that you all requested, and the additional really is for a grant match, correct? But if we were to give you the additional 79 plus 43 puts us right at 120 or so, 115, something like that.
Yeah.
And I
it's
guess that's my
129.
only concern because I'm thinking about the agreement itself and what the county is supposed to contribute. That's all I'm thinking about.
I
So
understand.
does it make sense?
I understand what you're saying.
Okay, I'm just
And-
curious.
and something else I need to make clear is this is not a one-time request.
Right. It will be recurring.
It'll be recurring
Right.
every year, and it'll be with whatever the match for the 5311 admin and capital grant is. That's the standard.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No,
I
thank
think I
you.
appreciate you. Y'all have any additional questions for Randy? No? Okay. Thank you.
What I'm
Oh,
understanding is he's requesting a total of $129,000,
Yeah, an additional 79,705 or something like that, I believe.
additional 79,000.
And just like we did with the rope funds, those funds they go into separate buckets. We know exactly how much each county has spent from each source. Same thing with these funds. We'll know exactly how much is in there and how much you have spent down, and we can report on it. But that 79,000 gets matched with 79,000 from the 221, the grant that we actually received. So
Okay.
you're doubling your money.
Okay, so you will receive the grant regardless if the counties contribute or not.
We will.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Anything else? Folks, I hope you have a good evening.
Thank you. Okay, next up is Vance Granville. Dr. Damaris. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Any-
You doing the same thing? Shoot.
What number is community college? 683.
$683.
Yeah, uh-huh.
683.
683. Let me see what page it is.
Okay, y'all let me know when you're ready for me to begin.
They find it yet? Yeah, page 69.
Was there a handout?
Yes.
So that she did give us a handout.
You did it.
I got it. Y'all ready for her to get started? Yes, okay. Okay, Dr. Damaris.
Okay. The handout that I've passed out to you is something that I took last week to our legislative visit when we went to the General Assembly, and I thought you might be interested in seeing it. We have a lot of folks ask us how is enrollment at the college, and I'm happy to report that our enrollment's doing quite well. We are at this point 3% above our highest enrollment post COVID, pre-COVID rather. And so we're holding our own, which is I think really good, given the fact that we have in the 4 counties that we serve, we have a variety of growth, of course, in Franklin County, slight growth in Granville, about the same here, and a retraction in Warren. And so we think 3% is good. We have tripled our basic skills enrollment, which is excellent in my opinion, because there are still people who don't have a high school education, who are adults, and there are still people who are functionally illiterate. We have had a 22% increase in short-term workforce program enrollment, and we've seen our men start to come back, which is really important. I think nationwide, there were a lot of issues with, particularly right before COVID and during COVID, where we saw men leaving education and not getting certificates, credentials, and other degrees. Our dual enrollment is off the charts. It's grown by 31%, but students aren't just choosing college transfer pathways. They are choosing skilled trades, applied pathways, and non-credit options in larger numbers. And we've had a dramatic shift in age demographics in our continuing ed. We have a quarter of our continuing ed students are now under 24 years of age. So people are looking to get into the workforce faster, quicker. We're putting a real emphasis on apprenticeships because we believe that that is so important to be able to have work experience and internship. We've seen 30 to 70% enrollment increases in skilled trades. That's one of the things that I said, we did the college transfer very well here. My predecessor spent a lot of time and energy in getting that solid early college and dual enrollment programs, but we kind of let the skilled trades die on the vine. And that's something that we have reinvigorated over the past 8 years. And I just want to point you out to our newest class, our central sterile processing class. We've had 76 graduates this past year. That is a 10-week program. It costs $323, including the book. And the median salary in our region is $45,000. So there's opportunity, both short-term and longer term as well. Getting to my actual funding request, you can see here that we are asking for level operating funding. So we're not asking for any additional funds. This is what you have paid us last year. A lot of citizens don't realize this, but our college main campus is supported 75% by Vance and 25% by Granville County. And so that's why I've circled the Vance County share of that total figure. For capital outlay, things break, things have to be replaced. This is not new. This is just for R&R and type of repair. We're asking for the same amount, $54,960, and Vance's level funding share would be $41,220. So again, no increase there. We do have a lot of needs, however, for our capital plan needs. And I apologize, my slides did not convert well, so my apologies. We have listed these by order of preference or priority. Our buildings are aging. Our campus was built starting in 1976. We just now replaced Building 1, and they're numbered in order of when they were built. We just now replaced that air handling unit. And so here are some current day estimates of what all we have to pay for. I would say that the building number 7 for roof repairs, buildings 3 and 4, which are connected, for HVAC, and of course the van. If y'all have seen our poor little van riding around, it's a shameful thing. I should have taken a picture up here, but it's got paint peeling off of it and signs peeling off of it. But that's our courier van, and it has over 250,000 miles on it. We've done a great job, but it's a 2016 van, 2014 van, and it's time. So we have tried to squeeze every bit of life out of what we can. We want to be good stewards. I did want to say that last year, Granville County went to a new way of funding us because, as you can see, our needs are very volatile in terms of the capital improvement. They decided that they would start giving us a standard allocation every year, and we just put it in a pot and we wait until we have what we need to fix the next thing that breaks. And that for Granville covers South Campus and the 25% of main campus. And so we talked when Granville was first thinking about this, the Granville County manager and the Vance County manager got together, and Renee kind of heard what Drew was thinking about. And last year, you all gave us a pot of money. And if you look at the items up here, other than the van, it really wasn't it wasn't enough to cover any one item. So we're holding that. And we would definitely like some clarity. We could ask you for these figures all day long, but we know this is a difficult ask, but we do have to have some money when things break. We lost our air 2 years ago, twice in the dead of summer, and we had to vacate building 1. Now, obviously, that's not going to be a problem anymore because we have, thank you for your allocation 2 years ago, because we got that fixed along with some money that we got, SCIF money we got from the state. So the state does help us a little bit in these. But we would like for you to carefully consider what you might be able to give us that we could be stewards for to be able to fix this. I also wanted to mention to you, we have an opportunity. We have 2 new centers that should be coming online in the next 2 to 4 years is what we're estimating. We're billing this as a regional build. We are a 4-county service area. And while we have Vance as the first word in our name, we don't just serve Vance. Vance has been traditionally our larger population. Last year it went to second. Our largest population of students come from Granville County now. We are about 3,000 credit students and about 3,000 non-credit students. Those are different people. They are not the same. So we serve about 6,000 people annually. The Center for Advanced Manufacturing is supposed to be built in the Granville North, Triangle North Park. That's where we will fabricate, assemble things, manufacture, advanced manufacturing. Then we have a smaller build that we're looking at to be built in Soul City in the Warren Triangle North Park. And this will be on 29 acres. And it will be an 11,700 square foot building. We are going to be starting a new program there, diesel heavy equipment repair, which is really important in terms of our transportation and logistics and the warehousing, the truck driving that we have here to train people to take care of those trucks, in addition to large, heavy yellow equipment. Which is also really important around here, anywhere from agricultural base to moving earth. Sunrock and Vulcan both use a lot of that type of equipment. And so, again, we need to train for those items. I will say that it has been requested, so I'd like to formally ask you as a county board of commissioners to consider, before this board changes, the conversation and ask that was asked by Granville County to go in operationally on this Center for Advanced Manufacturing, to go in with a reverse cost upkeep of 25% Vance County and 75% Granville County. I might just mention that Granville County still participates with us with the 25% cost share for Vance County, even though statutorily they do not have to. And the MOU that was signed in 19, whatever it was, I think it was 76, or 74, that memorandum is no longer valid, but they continue to hold to the spirit of that. And I think that they would feel very comfortable if this board would reciprocate for the new center coming online. And I just wanted to make sure that you had that in your mind. One of the things that we have to address as a regional community college that serves there are only four counties, there are only 4 regional colleges in North Carolina. The largest county regional college is College of the Albemarle. They have 7 counties. We're next with 4. Central Carolina has 3 and Mainland has 3. We're very unique in that because we have to serve so many types of constituents and municipalities and county government. We cannot, unfortunately, offer every single program at every campus. So we have to think of ourselves regionally. And I want to applaud Vance County for doing that. You and Granville County have really thought and acted regionally since we were formed. And I want to acknowledge that. It is not uncommon to have a student go live in one county, go to school in another county at a Vance Granville campus in another county, and yet work in a third. We tear up the roads around here. That's the way it works. And so we want to lean into that because we believe that our power is in our ability to serve the region. We are engaged in a $5 million fundraising plan right now. We do not have all the money for the transportation center. We are trying to raise it. We've got about 1.4 million raised thus far. And so we're on our way. But this is really important. So I wanted you to know this is a mixture of all different types of monies. There's a little more about the buildings here, and just want to let you know the source of funds. So Granville actually did put in $1.1 million to the Center for Advanced Manufacturing. We have state construction funds of $5.4 million and a grant from the General Assembly Office of State Budget Management, $11.5 million. This is an $18.6 million build. And that's just a layout of the floor plan. We will be moving our main campus welding here so that we can repurpose the welding on main campus, but we're hopefully leaving the Franklin campus. Some of you may have heard, if you haven't gone out and check the news. We are having an issue right now with Franklin County funding of the Franklin campus. So hopefully we'll get that seen about, but should everything continue as normal, our largest welding program is there, but we can't teach enough welding right now. We don't have enough bays, enough spots in the day and night to do that. Our mechatronics will move off of South Campus. In addition to our electronics, we're going to be beginning CNC machining, which we've never had here, but our employers are telling us they need that type of integrated machining. And so we think this is going to be a very useful endeavor here. Our courses, we hope, will begin in January of 2028. We're getting ready to go out to bid for state construction on this. And this is a 29 acres pre-designed layout for the building for the transportation center. What's in purple there is the driving range. We're going to have a driving range for CDL A and B, and then we're also going to have spots out there for heavy earth moving practice, if you will. And it's going to start out with a small building, but we're going to have expansion later. You do have to build these buildings with the big chain hoist to hoist up the heavy equipment. You've got to plan for that from the very beginning because your foundation has to be built differently. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, but for the most part, level funding, and we'd like for you to consider giving us an allocation to build up to deal with some of these difficulties we have on our aging main campus.
What was the Granville County allocation?
To the Center for Advanced Manufacturing, it's 1.1 million, 1.116 to be specific.
So we need to come up with two.
I don't know that is necessarily what they're asking for. What I understood that they were asking for operational. So to operate the physical plant of that building, they would like 25% upkeep once it's built, which would be to help pay for janitorial services, power, electricity, housekeeping, that kind of thing.
That would start in 2028.
2020, it would start at the earliest in January of 2028. Yes, sir. No, they have not asked for any money to actually build the building. Now, should something amiss go with Franklin campus, I will be back to talk to you because I have lots and lots and lots of programs that would need to be relocated.
I was trying to understand, you said Granville County is spending 1.5.
1.116 towards the Center for Advanced Manufacturing.
That will go to what, maintain
No, that's to build,
the bill?
just to build.
And you want what from us?
I did not ask for anything from you all to build. I asked for whatever it ends up to be for the ongoing physical plant upkeep of that building once it gets built.
Okay, now, I know last year we had conversations because Granville County was making a contribution that we weren't making. Is that?
Right.
we-
I don't know that anything went beyond that. We've moved on. The building is moving. My concern is we get it tapped into a bid and then the prices get.
I mean, I thought that was for operation.
Yes, for operate, the 1.116 is not for operation.
Right.
It's for building.
But didn't
There was a
do
fund,
something
right.
last year?
I think they're referencing
I'm
we
sorry.
allocated 500,000
Yes.
last year. So I'm
Last
talking
year.
about the annual.
Yeah, so last year they allocated 400,000 year before last, and then this year
Yeah.
or last year.
Mhm.
And last year you all allocated 500,000 for and this is upkeep of main campus that we're talking about right now.
Supposed to be doing 75% of that.
It's different.
But it's different because the 400,000 is supposed to cover South Campus and their 25% portion of main campus. And they left it up to us as to where we wanted to put it.
Mhm.
If we needed more to put it at South Campus one year, fine. If we needed it more to put at
Mhm.
main campus one year, fine. They just said, we don't want to worry about it. So you take this 400,000 and don't come back and ask us
Right.
for any.
Yeah, and it's for capital improvements
It's for
on the campus.
capital
Yes,
improvement
capital
only.
only. So not operating, just capital.
Operating, no.
But they have done it 2 years.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Mhm.
And we've done it.
We didn't this year. I wanted to talk to the commissioners about it to see what you all were comfortable with.
Yeah.
So, because last year we did 500.
We
So
have
we need to make a
most of-
decision on what we would like to do annually.
Right. That's my ask. I just ask for you to consider what you might want to do
Right.
because it is getting a little tricky with the 75-25 to kind of figure out all the accounting. That's the other thing nobody ever told me when I became a president of a 4-county service area. We got 4 county budgets to deal with.
It's a lot.
That's different from the upcoming building of the 25%.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
That's
Okay,
right.
The day-to-day operation.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Okay.
You have any more questions? No? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Damaris.
Right, thank you.
And so we have one more presentation from Miss Lisa Harrison from the Health Department. Page 43. Mm-mm. It must be back here before the salaries, yes. Mhm. Mhm. $590.
So you have, since you're on the board, you can have the one without the staples.
Okay.
I'm just teasing.
Oh, it's a lot of them.
They're reviewing without
Thank
staples.
you.
The rest are coming around and have staples. No, I don't want to trade. I don't think you'll want mine either. Thank you. Thanks for having us this evening. It's always an interesting time to get to budget season and remind ourselves all of the wonderful services that are available through the county. Thank you for your support of all these wonderful services. As a local health director, I work really hard to try not to come to you and ask for too much funding because I really believe in all of the work and we want to support in public health all of our determinants of health, like CARTS, transportation, like all of the other services that you provide for the school system, for the community college, for animal control, for public safety. So all of that is connected to public health, and I appreciate your contributions to all of it. So when I arrived as local health director in 2012, one of the foremost missions of our small group of public health workforce was to, as a result of not wanting to take funds away from other services, be really, really good at writing grants and really, really good at managing those grants and the people who were supported by those grants. We've been quite successful, and over the last decade have been able to get more than $25 million worth of grants into these counties and communities to provide services of public health. There are two categories of services of public health. There's mandated services, those that we're required to provide by law. North Carolina General Assembly and General Statute 130 requires that we do communicable disease control, environmental health, and vital records. And so part of what I've done for you in this brief overview that includes our request at the health department is to just review our mission, vision, and values. You see that as the first slide. And then just remind everybody that your local health department serves both Granville and Vance counties as a district, created in 1974. And then making sure that everyone was reminded that our budget looks a lot like a Jenga game. It is pieced together by local, state, federal, and grant dollars. And so it gets really sensitive. If you pull out one of the Jenga pieces too much, a lot of the pieces on top of it can fall. And if you get more substantial sort of at the bottom, you can build it up a little higher. So that is really what it looks like to manage a budget at Granville Vance Public Health. We have approximately 85 staff members across 2 counties and across 6 different buildings in our district. And we've been very proud that we've only used less than 10% of our operating budget comes from each of the 2 local counties. It's traditionally around 7 to 8% of our total operating that each Granville and Vance contributes. And since 1974, you've been really good about being even Steven about those contributions and checking across county lines to make sure that that's the case. And I'm grateful for that. So we also are asking for a level funding recurring of $1 million contribution to your health department for Granville Vance Public Health from Vance County in the next fiscal year. In addition, we do really need badly a one-time outlay, just a one-time expense to cover $275,000 of mandated services. So here's the challenge and why I've had to ask for that for this year. Communicable disease is one of our mandated services. And we had this little old pandemic we had to be involved with for a few years. Thankfully, it is now behind us. And as a result of all of the extra work we were required to do between 2020 and 2024, we had an additional $2.5 million from the federal government to expand our communicable disease services and make sure we could do all the vaccination clinics and respond in a way that was appropriate for our communities. Over the last year and a half, we knew that money was going to go away and we were not going to have it anymore. That is not a surprise. It came while we had the emergency. It left when the emergency was over. We have had natural attrition and we have had to incentivize some retirements in our health department. So we've lost more than 11 individuals out of the health department, including 2 communicable disease nurses that we no longer have with us to prepare for that $2 million loss. The challenge is our health insurance costs and our retirement costs and all of the fringe benefits to the staff of the health department that are not county employees but do have a lot of similar benefits have increased tremendously. So even though we've lost staff and not replaced them, we've incentivized retirements and not replaced those, we are still obligated to cover the cost of mandated services, communicable disease, environmental health, and vital records. And the total cost for those services is approximately $2.7 million. So the $1 million from each county does not cover the $2.7 million cost to do those 3 mandated services. And even though the dip of COVID cost went down, we still have the increased cost of staff and benefits. And so our one-time $275,000 from each county will get us to the 2.7 million for next year. So why am I just asking for one time and not recurring funding? Because that does include some staff fringe, right? As I said earlier, we've been really strategic and good at receiving additional funds from philanthropy, private organizations, and federal grants. And so we have a plan to make sure that we do that in 3 different ways. One way is that we have a new not-for-profit foundation called the Healthy Tomorrow Foundation that is going to work like an academic health department model with philanthropy and have a lot of different researchers on that foundation. So that is one way we're going to replace that cost elsewhere after this year. HRSA has reached out to us last week, that's the Health Resources Services Administration, to say that the new Access Point grant we submitted in September of 2024, they now have funding for. And so that will help really bolster our primary care unit and all of the providers in primary care. But it can only be used for primary care. It cannot be used for communicable disease, vital records, and environmental health. Third, we have worked together across the other district health departments who are also not county employees or state employees who are in this same sort of predicament in rural health to make sure that they find other funding in addition from county dollars. And we have established a 501c6. So we are going to be working with advocacy and lobbyists for the 501c6, the District Health Department Association, to get more state dollars for districts because districts typically have the lowest amount of local funds. It is an average between $4 and $7 million that most small to mid-level health departments receive from local county dollars. Larger ones get 70 and 80 million in the Mecklenburg and Buncombe and Wake counties of the world. We are not trying to be all that. And we realize we don't need to keep asking for money from the locals, so we are going to get help asking more money specifically from the state, especially with all of the changes to Medicaid we predict that are coming next year. Our working strategy is that legislators will be willing to pay for the 6 districts to have a little bit more money to make up for those Medicaid losses. And then finally, why do I not need to ask for this again, but I'm only coming to you one time for the 275? We have been part of the Rural Health Transformation Grant effort. Thank you very much for your support for that effort where we applied to become a rural roots hub with the Department of Health and Human Services. As we predicted, we did not get the actual hub of 39 million a year for 5 years. We're not that big. And we really worked hard with all of the partners who were submitting grants against us to be a rural roots hub to say, hey, look, we're actually rooted in rural. We actually know the folks you want to connect with and are already partnering with them. So if you will put us on your grant, we will give you a letter of support. We did that for all of the 6 other Rural Roots Hub applicants. And now the state is having a conversation with UNC Health to say, hey, Granville Vance put in an application too. They looked pretty good, but they didn't have 39 million and their county said that they were good for it, but let's let UNC float that instead. And so those are the 4 reasons I'm only coming to you 1 year, one time to help bolster the health department's mandated service line. I will figure out how to get the rest in the future. And I have a lot of confidence that those 4 different ways of doing that will, at least 2 of them will be very successful. So only one time 275, 1 year, mandated service, cost only. And the reason is staffing fringe costs have gone up. And even though we've lost staff and are not replacing them, we still have a gap in this year's budget that I really need to fill. What questions do you have for me? I have presented to the Granville County Board as well. I typically get the question, well, what is Granville County doing? So I did talk with Drew Cummings again this evening, just to get on the schedule again for this coming Friday is the next Granville County budget session. I got a little crosshaired with them the last time because I was asking them to help float some of that money for the Rural Roots Hub just in case we got it. They did not spit their coffee out at me when I asked for 12 million to just borrow for a minute. They were very kind and said if we were to have received the Rural Roots Hub, they would consider floating it for 60 days until we could get that reimbursed. That whole grant is a reimbursement model only. And so I would have had to infuse our budget with something to give out before I could receive it back from the state. And so they had a lot of questions about that at their last budget work session, and the 275 kind of got lost. So I'm going to circle back around to Granville County on Friday. I will follow up with my 2 county commissioners that are on our Board of Health and the 2 county managers just to summarize what we've asked for tonight in both regards, because I know you all like to weigh in with each other and decide that together in some regard. So I will follow up on that tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's before we go into our next part.
He's been here for a while. Okay, so we're gonna take it's 20, one y'all wanna go ahead and eat dinner?
Yeah,
Take a 20-minute break? Okay, all right.
we're gonna take a 20-minute break at this time. Thank you. What did they ask for?
Which one?
I'm trying to get. Call the work session back into order.
Madam Chair, can we go back to the outside agency presentations? Do y'all want to give us direction to adjust any of those based off the presentations? So the library would need an additional $32,374. Vance County Schools would need a little over, I know 3.1 million was for the supplements. I can't remember the other amount. Carts would need an additional 79,705. Vance Granville is not asking for any additional, but they are asking for an allocation every year, whatever you all feel comfortable with. And the health department is looking for 275.
So the allocation is the same as what we did, the 500,000. That's what.
I
that's
wouldn't
allocated.
recommend that amount. I would recommend a smaller amount because I think we need to commit to it every year. That
Mhm.
would be my recommendation. And I was thinking,
You said a small amount?
225 would be my recommendation.
What?
For-
What's Graham County doing?
400?
400.
Mm-hmm. And this will be their third year doing 400.
Yeah, I mean, while we're not really subject to the agreement from 76, 74, whenever it was, it is something that's worked well for a number of years. And I just think we need to maintain that, particularly as we go into the center they're going to have over there. They're going to be covering 75% of that.
And
We need to support the 25%.
Yeah, and I'll bring that back to you all at a work session for you all to, so we can establish an MOU.
So
Yeah.
you're saying at 225 or the?
I'm thinking 500,000, and then we need to evaluate from there.
250? They want to do 250?
Half million.
Oh, you want to do 500? I'm sorry. I thought you were saying half of the 500,000.
Yeah, I mean,
So y'all want to do half?
Your recommendation was because
said-
of what?
So I was,
Just wanna make
since
sure.
we started off with 500, I was just thinking 225, just based off all of our other priorities this year. I think 225 would be a good starting point, but if you all want to do 500,000, I would recommend that we reduce the capital reserve that we're recommending for our future capital projects instead of pulling it from fund balance, what's already recommended in the budget. And just know this is going to be,
This is every year.
it would be. Well, we could start off with 500 every year if you all wanted to, but
I lost the beginning of this conversation. What was?
Vance Granville,
And we do
an
what?
allocated amount every year for capital. And they are behind on capital projects,
Yes.
big time,
Oh,
because,
they are.
yeah, I agree. I do agree.
We thought they were going to get that big bond issue thing, and that did not materialize.
Right.
So we waited for years for that to be passed, and it didn't get passed.
Mhm.
So they are behind on capital. We pushed it down the road
are.
for about 4 years.
I agree.
And so if we do the 500,000, then when they build a new facility, that's 25% of operation. That's on, we don't know what operation gonna be.
Correct.
Right?
Right. That's right.
I'm just
That's
trying to think
unknown
about
right
it.
now. That's right.
Yeah, that's why I said I want to make sure we see the whole big picture.
Yeah, that won't happen until 2028
2028.
on the operation.
But then once we lock into the 500,000.
Do we have to lock in?
Well, not necessarily,
Okay.
not necessarily. No. Right. Just we need to, well, I would say we would need to agree on an amount starting this year,
Yes.
but 500 is high, but you all can adjust it at any time based off revenues.
But they
That
doing
makes any sense.
400,000, right? Granville.
Granville is
So
doing
why
400.
let's do what match them?
You want to do 4? You want to do
Match them.
400?
We're responsible for 75%
Center.
of the campus. here.
Yeah, well, that's just for operations capital. Yeah, you're right too, but we're not necessarily basing it off of their total. Their total request is like $6 million. So this is just an amount to get them started, like Dr. Damaris said.
Yeah, because like I said, it
So-
don't have anything to do with the percentage. There's two.
Yeah,
different
so I mean, we're
things.
still responsible
Maintaining
for,
that, we're responsible for that.
right.
I
So,
was- I
but what
was
about,
match?
you want to do 400?
I want to match. I'll match at least them.
Well, I'm okay with the 500.
Yeah, whatever you all 4 or 5, but when I pay my bills, I know that's $1 a month. It's a difference. Let me see.
I think there was some conversation with the Granville County Commissioners last year
Mm-hmm.
about us not doing whatever.
Yeah, they're already at 800. So
They said we're
this
not
will put
doing
us
our
at $1
percentage?
million.
What Right, based on what they did.
Mm-hmm,
But we didn't have a conversation with them about it. They just, it's just something they went and did
mm-hmm.
and then came back.
So, like, fine with the 4 or 5, you know. You think, Leo, 5, 4, which one you would? Commissioner Brummett is saying 500,000.
Anyway.
And,
I know, we just
want to
reduce the capital reserve.
Just to get started.
we gonna,
So what we say?
Yolanda was saying 250 to get started. What was you saying?
That was my recommendation.
Yeah, I was saying since if they've done 400 2 years, maybe, and we did 5 last year, maybe we can do 3 to kind of catch up.
And be 800 too. Yolanda said 250.
Yeah, 250 sounds good.
I would recommend
yeah, but
two.
How
what
much
year
did we
they
do
going
last?
into? This their 3rd year?
We did 500.
500,
So this will be their
What'd you
third-
think
But
we
they
should do
finna
this
go
So
year?
into
they'll be at 1.2. That's right.
So
This will
they
be their
finna go
3rd year.
3rd year.
Yeah, I know.
They're not gonna be doing anything to 2028.
Mhm.
So we need to make up something.
This is for this campus here.
And I have to give it,
That's
I have
something
to
that-
say, Dr. Damaris is really, she's great.
She
for us.
is, I know.
She's amazing when it comes to
Yeah.
that college. She,
I agree.
she,
Up in 2028. But if we need to give some more, we can give more next year. Do 250 and we need to put that up.
Mhm.
Well, my thing
Next
is,
year, you know, in addition to what we was gonna already give, then I would rather do it next year than trying to
That's true,
squeeze it
too.
out this year. We got so, other projects in the works.
well, my thing is, we've got a relationship with Granville County. And we need to stick to that relationship as closely as we can.
Well, she said they
They're
got how
stepping
much?
up into it. Grandma's stepping up to it and everything.
Granville gave was 750.
No, Granville gave them
400,000. That's why I said match
This will
what
be
they
their
doing.
third
The
year.
what?
Granville doing
400,000.
400,000. I said match what they doing.
We gave $500,000 last year,
Mhm.
and so we were behind.
That was, yeah. They had, yeah, they've given, this should be 1.2 total that they've,
They
Oh,
put in
okay.
1.2, and we put in $500,000.
So we'll do that.
What'd you say, Carolyn? Give them 400?
I was trying to match, but since this is their 3rd year, I was,
so Stephanie has a great
75,
recommendation.
what's your
25
recommendation?
So,
Let's-
so Stephanie said 250 and depending on how revenues look, we can do a budget amendment and allocate more next year.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, is that what Yolanda said? So let's do 250. Y'all agree with 250?
I'd rather do more, but
Okay, so I just need a consensus.
I'd like to give more too.
Okay,
I'll at least do the 4.
okay, 400. Everybody agree with
Yeah,
majority 400?
yeah.
Matching, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's go back to the library. Any adjustments for the library?
No.
No? No? Okay. Vance County Schools?
You said they were asking for how much?
3.1 million.
More than that, actually. 3.1 is just for the supplement.
that, I mean, based on the numbers from the data book, the map book, whatever it is, county map book,
Why don't we
We're
just
in
do
line.
250 now and then if we need like, instead of saying if we need to do,
We
we can amend
decide,
and do 150 later on in the year. Especially around by September.
we decided that,
We decided
we were
400.
moved on from.
Yeah, they decided on 400, Yolanda.
yeah, we're gonna do 4.
400.
We're working on the schools now.
So I said 250 now and then maybe 150 later on in the year.
Oh, she's saying break the 400 up and not do the whole 400.
I mean,
Is that what you saying, Yolanda?
we've already-
What you saying? You talking about do the, no, she's still talking about the 250.
Yeah, she's talking about 250.
She ain't talking
I'm
about.
And
saying
then do
250,
it.
but if you want to do 4, why don't we just do 250
saying
now
break
and
it
then
up.
do 150 later on in the year? That's still gonna be 4.
Let's do 4 and forget it, y'all.
That's where I'm at.
Okay. Okay, so back to the schools. Okay, I'm sorry, Commissioner Brumman, you were saying something. I'm sorry.
I mean, we're right in the middle of the pack. We're at 65%, and that, like I said, that doesn't account for the $500 that we gave them per person last year.
We got more 500, we got 1,000.
Didn't we?
Yeah. You see, I
Okay.
heard you said 5.
We gave them like,
Okay, all right.
yeah, like,
So anyway,
like
so we
1.2
gave
million.
last
We had
year.
like 3 pennies last
But
year.
prior to that, us increasing that, with all the funding, they were at 65. we were number 65 out of 100 counties. So, and that's well within, average. And so I've been getting just bombed with emails from people saying that we are underfunding them. And it's not a thing of us underfunding them. It's a thing of they're just wanting to pick on the monies that we're putting in. Because we're a tier 1 county or whatever, we get more federal and state funds to supplement us in that area. And so I'm okay with just leaving it where it is.
It's been time when we gave more than they did. There's been time when we gave more than Grandma did.
We're on the Vance County schools now.
Oh, we're doing school.
Renee, what are they asking for? What they asking for in terms of
For the supplements, $3.1 million.
$3.1 million?
Yes, sir.
And
And
what
so
they treat them-
a penny is about $450,000. So just, we would have to raise taxes in order to grant that.
I would like to see, as the conversation was, about some performance-based.
Mhm.
I've talked to a lot of teachers, and the school system is not in a good place right now.
And so one of your goals for fiscal year 26-27 is to have a joint meeting with the school board. So we'll make sure that can be addressed
They said they
in
were
that.
gonna apply for that grant in September.
Yeah,
That's
You
for
might get it.
construction.
that's for capital.
Yeah, that's for, capital. And actually it would be a new school. It would not, the grant funds would not be for repairs for the school. So it would have to be a new school to get that type of funding. Yeah. Okay, so Vance County Schools, leave as is. Carts,
Well, if they want to do that, they have to give us some schools.
So what, Yolanda? Did it what?
They have to give us some 2 schools.
Um,
We'll give it to them.
So Vance County, we're leaving it where it is.
yes, ma'am.
So we can sell them
I mean,
at auction like they did.
on the carts thing, we do have a high usage. And
Highest out of
and it-
other
and it
counties.
benefits a whole lot of citizens.
Mhm.
That's something that I don't think we can let go right now. I think they've done a pretty good job of turning carts around, finding efficiencies and cutting costs. The runaway thing right now is this insurance.
That's all across the board, Red.
And then
It
that's,
is, yeah.
that's
It's
just-
expensive.
just- something's got to change in the insurance industry, or we're all going to
Go under.
be.
They're on the way.
broke.
So, but he said if we don't fund it, so just our county, our citizens gonna not.
That's what he's saying, that our citizens would suffer, because our ridership is so high. And so if he doesn't have the additional funding, then some, trips may be cut, essentially.
I mean, I'm okay with doing the
I thought he
79.
said if we gave, if the others wouldn't give and we gave, then he would just service our people.
I think that's what he said, didn't he?
He said it would just be used for Vance County only, the additional funding. So, but, mind you, now this would be recurring. So moving forward,
It's every year.
it would be. So moving forward, it would be the 79,705 in addition to whatever the agreement says that we're responsible for.
What are we giving it? What do you?
43,000. I think it's about 49,000. And it fluctuates depending on if they have capital. So last year it was like $78,000. This year it's 40 something, less than 50.
What did we give them last year?
Hold on for 1 second. I think it was like $78,000 maybe, but that was based on the agreement between the other counties. The additional that they're looking for is a match for a grant.
We gave them that last year. In your budget thing for us, do we have anything in there for? They asked for additional money above what we gave them last year,
That's what that's what he was requesting tonight.
what we gave them last year.
Yes, sir.
You included in it this year what they asked for, what they had last year?
I didn't include it. That's why he came to present to you all, so you all can consider it.
Let me back up.
Okay. Correct. Right.
Yes, I thought it was a one-time.
So we did 78 last year, though, right?
75, 759.
75
And then
last
there
year.
was a grant that went directly to him, the 86.
So basically what we're doing is increasing the budget by 40-some thousand over last year.
Overall, yes.
So what is that grant he gets that covers, he was saying something about a grant
Mhm.
that covers something.
Is it a grant that goes directly to him and not social services anymore? We used to be the pass-through, but we're no longer the pass-through. It goes directly to him.
What can you use that for?
Employment trips through social services, and I can't remember the other thing. It's a grant that's yeah, it's like rope funding. Yeah. And we used to be the pass-through, but we're no longer the pass-through. It goes directly to him.
We approved that last year.
I
Yep.
remember that,
Mhm.
so, regardless, they was their money regardless, it just went through.
Right. Yeah.
So I think.
And they were short this year because they got a waiting list at the at the senior center for transportation,
They got a what?
waiting list
What was, at the senior center do what?
for people to take carts.
Um,
So like a lot of the seniors who can't drive anymore or don't need to be on the highway going back and forth to Duke, if they have not already been put on that list, they're on the waiting list.
So why they on the waiting list to ride cars? So they don't have, so this 79,000 gonna make a difference not to be on the waiting list?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't understand that.
Either that or social service gonna have to give more money, cause there should be a waiting list.
Oh, you talking about the social service to pay for it?
Hmm.
Pay for the senior citizens, cause I don't got confused.
No, I'm just saying, see,
There's one of those programs that
seniors,
Gets
the senior
reimbursed.
senior is under social service.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying. You said it was a waiting list. I'm just trying to get on
Waiting
this.
list
So for
for
cars,
seniors to ride cars.
okay, because they don't have the funding, social service don't have the funding, or cars don't
I
have
don't
the
know
funding?
why that, but it's not being paid, So
They
a
had a
senior, a
waiting
lot
list. You
of
got
them
the
do
money,
not
they-
drive anymore unless they can find someone to take them for their appointments. If they got something in Raleigh or something in Durham, their name is on the waiting list.
Yep.
Hmm.
Maybe no, I think they have vehicles, but just not enough staff. That might be what it is.
So how is the money gonna help with that?
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're only paying $13 an hour.
Right.
That's hard. And I don't want us to forget that CARTS is federally funded and we just support CARTS. Let us not forget that.
And
but-
then we not, I mean, we saying no to
To
the
school,
school
but then,
that need money and we need teachers and, but then we're gonna say yes to cars. I mean,
yeah, so, let's back 1 minute, go back to the
Well,
school.
we a senior certified county, but we don't take care of seniors. One, they don't get, a lot of them don't get fed, and the other ones don't have transportation.
Well, I think, whenever you go to
So their
any
name on the waiting list.
kind of needs assessment, transportation is always on the list.
Yeah, I understand that, especially in our county.
That's a need,
Yeah, I don't,
and I think we've got to support that.
okay, let me go back to the school one more chance for a minute. Without the 13 million, what was the other funding for?
Hold
How
on.
much,
I got to pull up the request. Hold on for 1 second.
not talking about the supplement.
Yeah, they just sent us an updated letter today, like right before you. Hold on for a second, John. Here we go. Let me see. So 26, 27. So 5% increase in local funds for utility and operational costs, and a 3% increase in salary costs, along with matching benefits for FICA, hospitalization insurance, and retirement contribution.
Teacher supplements, and that's before we increased it last year.
Mhm.
And let's
We
see.
increased about that.
Yeah, teacher supplements, 1,000, I had 500.
Mhm.
And they're budgeting 3% for,
Better than half of that. We're above that state
Mhm.
on supplements.
All right, so, Renee, say it again.
so they're budgeting for a 3% salary increase, a 25% for retirement, $8,900 for hospitalization insurance. But they need the additional funding for utilities, fuel and supplies. It says across the board, they've reached increase in high levels with their current local funding. And they're budgeting 5% overall for the most part.
So they're saying they're 5% over their budget of
No, they want 5%.
5% over,
Overall, but that's, of course, that's without the teacher supplement though.
okay.
And for capital, how much did we give them for capital, Stephanie? 850 again? Okay, and they want 975 for capital.
To do what was the increase of capital for?
Okay, so routine maintenance, but also capital for laptops as well.
Laptop.
Mhm.
And that's an extra how much for the capital? 100 million? Was that a million?
125
Oh,
for capital. Yes, ma'am.
all right. But you recommend we stay, okay?
Yeah, but my recommendation for our outside agents was flat until we could have a conversation. If you all want to at least grant the additional capital, we could reduce our capital reserve if you want to. I don't,
Well, you
I don't
all
wanna-
got the number.
Recommended not.
But you
yeah,
recommend
I did flat. I did. I did. Yeah. All of these were recommended as flat.
Okay.
So back to carts,
Okay.
79,705.
So I wanted to actually, if we don't do this 79,000, would it actually cut out people out from getting the benefits?
That's what he
I
said.
think,
That's what, I know what it said.
yeah.
Don't mean it. I know what it
I mean,
said.
accurate.
Well, they've been using fund balance, and they don't have that fund balance now, is what he was saying. That
Say-
fund balance will be gone at the end of this year.
Oh, did he say it will be depleted completely? I don't remember.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
He said it was 1.2, and then it went down
I thought you said 1.9.
1.9.
1.9.
Okay. So,
They said they
it,
didn't want to use it all.
Mhm.
Okay.
you want to honor some of it instead of the whole 79?
I was wondering, how much if, well,
I mean, I think any amount would help because when I asked him the question, he said that he would be able to, because the grant match is $221,000. So it's a 50-50 match. So regardless, he's going to get the match for the grant. So my thought process is if you all decide not to do the entire 79,705, let's just say you did 39,705 or 40,000, I think that would assist with the ridership still in the county.
because that's a projected rate, right? What he think with those that would need ride
Mhm,
transportation?
yeah.
that's
So,
what
but
they-
but I do know that we have the highest ridership out of all the other counties.
We do
But-
6 months and revisit after, do half and revisit at the end of 6 months.
I don't know how the grant
So what?
works on that.
Well, he's getting a grant regardless.
We'll get
He-
the grant regardless.
yeah. mhm.
I mean, if we go back and fund it at 75,000 or whatever it was from last year, that would be a $30,000 increase over what we projected this year. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah, because we went from 75 to the 49.
So if we go back from 49 to 75, then that would
Mhm.
give us about 30,000 of that.
Yeah, and the request was high last year because of capital, and this year it wasn't any capital.
So I mean, if we did that, that would be like $30,000 more, 20.
So you're just saying just keep it as what we allocated last year.
Keep the same allocation as
Yeah.
last year.
And it may be time to have a conversation with the other counties just to see if the agreement needs to be revised as well. I mean, I don't think that's a bad conversation to have.
Keep it as last-
So what was it?
We said keep it as last year?
759.
Okay.
See, last year,
Does it-
our budget was 75,000.
Mhm. Yeah, right.
This year, we're down to 49.
49.
So.
What are we agreeing to do?
26,000.
Okay,
Keep the budget as it was last year and just keep them flat.
but they still will get an
75.
increase from us.
That'd be
70, yes.
26,000 increase, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
They
Stephanie got
applied
that?
to grant.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Health Department, $275,000 one time.
I like what she said. I want to see what grandma doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
see what grandma-
Yeah, and Drew and I have been talking, and he did tell me he was going to have her come to the Board of Commissioners
Mhm.
and discuss the need. But I see Granville granting that because they were willing to lend her $12 million.
She did say that.
So I definitely see them granting that. So if I find out on Friday that they're granting it, do you all want me to proceed with the one-time 275?
You know,
I mean, I'm just,
based on the state funding, and that's another thing is,
You still-
the state keeps creating all these unfunded mandates.
Yeah.
And at
what's
some
going to keep
point,
happening?
we've got to say, hey,
Mhm.
if the state can't afford it, then Vance County can't afford it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because you all were talking about 500,000 for the Vance Brown wanted to split it, 251, 250 of them.
Yes, until Friday. I'm sorry, what you say, Commissioner Feemster?
I said, we were talking about 500,000 to Vance Brown, we'll give them 250, like I said, and then get the other 250 to the health department.
We
then,
still gonna have to look out for
and
Vance
then
Graham
give
regardless.
Ron do an adjustment and give him
Yeah, I would
Vance
like
Graham
to
the
go-
other 150 later
See
on
what
in the
we-
year.
I think like what you're saying, Carolyn, just see what Graham County
But they
does.
still
Let's
would have
follow.
400.
Okay, so the next item is just budget process overview. I just want to make sure that I communicate publicly that this process is not just a Renee budget. Our budget process starts in October, in which we request capital from our department heads. And we have our first budget hearing in January. And historically, the county has followed the same budget process. And so I just pretty much have followed the same process in which we have a public hearing in January. And then around the springtime, we meet with the department heads and go through their request as well as outside requests. And we have a budget team, and it consists of Jeremy, myself, Stephanie, and Frankie. So this proposed budget is the manager's budget, but it's everybody's input. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. It's definitely not just my budget. And Jeremy's going to go over the timeline real quick for budget adoption.
Good evening, Commissioners. North Carolina General Statute 159-8 requires counties to adopt a balanced budget each year. Each fiscal year begin before July 1. As part of this budget timeline, we have the work session today to allow our commissioners to review departmental requests, decision priorities, ask questions, and provide direction to staff before the proposed budget is finalized. Following the completion of the work session and any necessary revisions, the board will formally consider budget adoption in June, with the adopted budget ordinance serving as the county's legal spending plan for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 26, ending June 30, 27. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions about the timeline for budget adoption?
I wonder why we gotta pass by July and
But
can't
it's
state.
I know, right.
It's
I know.
crazy.
All right.
Passed a continuation budget,
Oh.
which we could do the same thing. It stayed flat before we had last year.
Mhm.
Stephanie, yeah.
Summary of revenue projections, Stephanie.
So we got about a little over 20 different pots of category of funds that we're, revenue that we get in. But three of the major funding is, their property taxes, there are the sales taxes, and the DSS revenues. So the property taxes overall are based upon the, county property tax value that we get that information from the tax office. And then it's based upon the tax rate. So with the property tax value we have, and I got this information as of yesterday, well, as of today, this really, it's $4,498,984,052, and our tax rate's 0.00719. So the maximum amount of revenue that can be generated from that tax base is $32,073,257.31.
What
Okay.
section are you reading?
So I'm just doing an overview, just doing a brief overview. Yeah.
This one right here.
No, I didn't make a copy of
Oh, we
all
don't
of them.
have-
It's like 5
oh.
pages, yeah.
Oh, okay, we can get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just a brief overview of the revenue sections. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just saying, so if you looked at your revenue, just saying how we came up to the recommended tax, the tax of value that's based upon the property taxes. So this is just a brief overview of the revenue section, of all of the revenue that's in that section. I think it's just about eight or 9 pages. So the main is property taxes, the sales tax revenue, and DSS, which are based upon getting reimbursements and some Medicaid-related programs. So the sales tax, this fiscal year, the property tax made up 45%, the sales tax makes up 19.6%, and DSS revenue 9.6%. Then we have interest, planning, and inspection revenue, which did increase this year due to higher permit activities. And then we did allocate some fund balance that was to help support the operations, and then some capital, capital projects. So this is just a brief overview of just the revenues and where the funding comes from to support the county. So in your book, there are explanation in the narrative notes from where these funds are generated. So some did increase, some did not. We went with how the collection rate is going this year. So we just made a projection based off of those. So it's just an overview of the revenues. Okay. Next on the list is just history of adopted and amended. There's just some information I also pulled again that came from the January retreat that we had, where we covered the adopted amended budget and then what has been spent, those amounts coming from the financial system, and just the changes throughout the year, starting from fiscal year 21 through fiscal year as of 26 where we're in. So we started off with adopted in 21 was 49 million. We had an amendment of 51, and I think 47.6 was spent that year. So we did have a little less spent of what was adopted. Fiscal year 22, we had adopted 51. The amended was 52.9. That particular year, we did spend over budget of 55.7. 23, 54.9 adopted, 59.1 was amended, and we spent 53.751. So most of these years where we had adopted, we had amended, we still spent less than what was the amended budget. So right now, as of year to date, fiscal year 26, what was adopted was $65,970,844. And we've had budget amendments that right now our amended budget is $73,922,429.20. So as of today, we have spent $57,044,418, which is a little bit more than the last quarter report that we had. So there's just some information on that. I think history of the fund balance, that's also coming from the January retreat information. Going back from fiscal year 21, we had a $22 million fund balance. 22 went down a little bit, came back up, and then as of fiscal year 25 audit, we had $31,129,127,000. We had allocated some in last fiscal year, and we have done some budget amendments. I do estimate that at the end of fiscal year 26, we are expecting, which again, our second major one, which is the sales tax. We do have, I think, March, April, May, and June, 4 more payments because they're behind by like 45 days. So we do have about 4 more payments, and the average of each one is about 1.2 million that's coming in. So prior to any allocations for the fund balance in fiscal year 27, I do estimate a $23 million fund balance, which is less than the 31, but we have allocated some for projects. And we still are within our range of our fund balance policy, which states we're going to target 15% or between 15 to 25% of the general funds.
So this 23 million is what you're projecting at the end of this fiscal year.
26, yes. Yeah.
And then you're projecting another 7.5 million in fund balance appropriated in the next year's budget.
Well, yeah, in 27, but I think we're changing that now with some of these changes that we're making.
Everything's going up.
Yeah.
Okay, now, within that 7.5 million, does that include the 5 million capital?
Yes,
That does include the 5
it
million.
does. It absolutely does. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, so those were, those capital projects, and then a few other projects. Well, it's a few projects we had, and then the 4 million that we were allocating for the detention center. So it is
Not
included in that.
allocated anything to capital budgets this year.
We did have some projects that came, the EMS main, I think that came before us, EMS main and the sub. I think it's a detention center, and then the detention center renovation, and then detention center for the new construction. So those are some of the projects that are in process right now.
But have we
Yeah.
appropriated any monies in this year's budget for that?
The upcoming budget, or the current.
this
Current year's
current
budget.
Yeah, we do.
It'll be like what's left over from those.
Mhm.
Yeah, so anything that's left over from those is already allocated. Because we had to establish, one of the things the auditors told us, that all projects have to have its own separate fund.
Right.
So those funds are now in that fund. So anything that's left over will roll over into that fund, and it'll be a part of the fund balance for that fund.
So what's the fund balance in the northern station, and then the ambulance station, and then the new EMS station,
Okay.
and then the jail?
So I can tell you like what we had allocated and whatever's not spent, that's what'll be left in the fund balance. I think there are a few more payments that have to be made out of those accounts. But it won't go over, no new funds have been allocated for those, only what's had already been prior approved.
Okay,
And the difference of that will roll over into the fund balance.
but all we did was we bought the land up in Williamsboro.
So we appropriated what, about 5 million for detention, correct?
Yeah, it was 5 million.
So we got 5 million for the detention center, nothing else for the new builds. Correct, in this year's budget, nothing we have as of right now has been appropriated for the capital build for the substation,
Or for
nor for the main station. But 5 million is for the detention center,
repairs.
correct?
Yeah.
In this year's budget.
You all.
5 million in repairs
Mhm.
for the existing detention center.
Correct.
Mhm.
But it was.
Yeah.
It was split up, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
You have anything else, Stephanie?
Okay, no.
That's it.
Got another part coming later.
Next is the.
A major expenditure, yeah.
All right, so the summary of major expenditures, of course, this is in your packet as well. The salary study is gonna be a $1.2 million expense for us. That'll also be implementation of new titles, new minimum salaries, and the COLA for all staff. Performance pay of $300,000. County employee health insurance increase is $200,000. Water fund USDA loan payoff is 1.6 million. Recurring from last year, current expense increase Vance County schools to assist with supplements is 1.2 million
Jeremy, where you reading from?
off the summary expenditures in your book.
It's in your budget highlights.
That's in the highlights.
From your proposed budget. I don't know what page it is, but it's in the budget highlights.
It's under the manager's,
Yeah, after my message, budget highlights.
there's page 2 on mine.
Yes, in the first section.
Yeah, all this is in the book.
Yeah.
on page 2.
It's like right in the beginning, after my message.
Copy your message.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, let's see. I didn't see it first time.
Oh, yeah, page. Yeah.
Thank you, Pete.
You're welcome. Reevaluation fund catch-up is 330,000. The jail budget special contractor services for housing inmates in other counties is going to be 2.2 million. A mandated employer retirement contribution increase for law enforcement is going to be 17.1 versus 16.1, which is what's current. Yes, look, if you look on,
Oh, right there. We're down at, yeah.
Okay.
all right, so versus 14.35 for non-LEO. And then the Chronos timekeeping system, we're 35,000. We'll also research bi-weekly pay. And the next page is going to be the manager's recommended capital. Register of deeds is 70,000 for re-indexing software. IT is $133,450. For EMS is going to be $380,000 purchase a new ambulance. And for the fire department, $200,000 for air trailer, which is a total of $783.45.
Can that 70,000 for the register of deeds, can that come from that?
Automation funds, it can't. Yeah. And that's gonna be a multi-year project. I believe it's I believe it's either 3 or 4 years. I can't remember. She asked for it last year and I didn't include it last year. So I told her, Cassandra never asked for anything. So I told her I would include it this year. So yeah, but it is a multi-year project. So we would have to budget for that for the next 3 years. I think it's 3 years. I can't remember. Is it 3?
Yes, 3
Yeah.
years.
Okay, so the ambulance purchase, I see there was one that they were requesting 2 ambulances. Is that correct?
Yes, that was
Yeah.
the request. We went down to 1.
We're going with one.
I'm gonna do
Yes, sir.
one. Yeah.
What about this air trailer?
Mhm.
Why do we need an air trailer?
Because the county doesn't have one. The county fire department doesn't have an air trailer.
They have one that we're still using with rescue squad.
No, the rescue squad refuses to allow us to use it since they were defunded.
No, they didn't, because I saw it at the fire, at the burn they had out at Kittrell.
Oh, well, we were told something differently by the chief. So
Hicksboro.
I'm not sure.
The structure fire we had at Hicksboro.
Oh, it was Hicksboro. Okay.
That's still the rescue squad, huh?
Correct.
It is. Yeah.
So my preference is public safety is to be self-sufficient,
Yeah.
to not have to rely on anybody else to provide services for
what
the
we-
county.
Yeah.
Since we're a 24-hour department. So that's my recommendation from the fire chief as well, to purchase air trailer.
And it's my understanding that that air trailer was purchased with fire tax dollars, but it was conveyed to the rescue squad, and we have not been allowed to use it. I'm just from my understanding.
Different.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
have been using it.
Hicksboro has been using it.
No, it was used
Other.
in Vance County, but was at the burn when they burned out on number 1.
Okay, so the recommendation is to purchase an air trailer.
Yeah.
I understand that's your recommendation, but it's a waste of money.
So, board, how do you feel?
And the rescue squad decides whether they will or will not.
That's right, because it
Rescue
belongs
squad
to
has
them.
been Totally upfront and allowed to use it. Anytime they call, they get it there. I'm sorry.
I feel like
I'm sorry. Mr.
He
Jones,
said,
what'd you
how,
say?
he said, how,
I asked the board, how do they feel about that?
I'm still didn't hear you.
he said.
I asked the board of commissioners, how do they feel about it?
Can I get?
Yeah, you can, but we're gonna.
I asked the board how they felt,
I just.
the
want-
total board.
What?
I asked the total board, how do they feel about that? The recommenders recommended capital.
So much will cost us.
200.
200,000. Something we already have.
Something that, the rescue squad have, we don't have.
Correct.
Well,
So I'm for it.
And make note, it is damaged at this time.
Absolutely, that's
why it's not in
the garage.
The air trailer is damaged.
I think the tower lights damaged, correct?
So who can
It
fix
won't-
it?
And who has it now? The rescue squad?
Yeah, it belongs to the rescue squad.
Correct.
It belongs to them.
Belongs to them?
They're
Yes.
working, they're getting that repaired right now, is correct?
Can we afford it, Renee?
Been
Huh?
sitting there for
Can we
several
afford it?
months.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Yes, sir. That's why I recommended it. Yes, sir.
Well, my
What's
thing is
next?
buy our own, have our own.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I had Sheriff Brame on there, but we had a discussion this morning. So the next thing is,
About that conversation, we moved on. What we doing?
huh?
What do we decide?
Oh, yeah, y'all decided, I got the consensus to move forward.
Correct.
What a man, he said, fireman here. Let's hear him say the necessity of that purchase.
What'd you say?
Let her hear the necessity of the purchase from our chief.
Oh, Chief Harrison, can you speak, please? Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We decided to purchase an air trailer because at the end of the day, the rescue squad does not play nice in the sandbox with anybody else. Besides Hicksboro and Drury. And like Mr. Jeremy recommended, we want to be self-sufficient. So it would be nice for us to have our own air trailer that everybody in the county can use, not just Hicksboro and Drury. With our air trailer, anybody can use it at trainings, burns, accidents, whatever the case is. But throughout the years, it was something that the rescue squad kind of had in their possession and never let anybody use, even though everybody paid a piece into it. So that's why it's important for us to have our own and not have to deal with any immature acts of or people taking hostage of equipment that's really for everybody.
Explain to me what an air trailer, what's
Once our
the purpose of it?
it's the fill bottles.
So
You know how it's the fill bottles. You know how we wear air packs with a bottle on the back. Once they get low, it's to refill those, or it could be used to refill engine For example, Watkins has a cascade system on their engine. It can fill that as well. So it can be used for multiple tasks.
Is it a trailer or what is that? Is it,
Yes, it's a trailer.
you go in and fill?
No, well, it has a system on the inside, and you just put the bottles in a like a cabinet, and then it fills them up.
It's a
And-
trailer that we've had for years. I think the first time I met you was on a burn over there off of the old chicken farm or Stewart Farm Road. And it was there then.
Yes, sir, you are correct. But at the same time, when people don't play nice or people don't are not being true team players, then that creates another problem. That's why we need our own.
When he met you on the burn, was they still a part of the county funding?
Yes.
So that's why
yes.
they played nice.
Yes, but now since they got defunded, they have made the statement that they would never ever let anybody else use it. So the only place they have been is Hicksboro, or if somebody requests for them to come out, but
Yeah, if somebody requests, they come out.
nobody requests them for anything besides Hicksboro
I mean,
and Drury.
They used it at the burn at Kittrell.
But in an emergency, do you have that time to
Right.
make those requests for somebody to come out? I mean,
Well,
every second counts, correct?
Yes, every second counts, and if we have our own, then we can just make sure that everybody can fill their bottles with no issues, no complications, no problems being brought to the table, I would say.
And this is something for the necessity of the safety of the person working on the fire, right?
Yes, it is used to refill the bottles. Yes, ma'am.
And we bought it with the one they have, we bought it with fire tax. We can't reclaim it.
Unfortunately, no, because it was conveyed to the rescue squad, so it's like they own it. Yeah. Any more questions? Y'all have any more questions for Chief Harrison? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you,
I
Chief.
appreciate you. Any more questions before I move on? Okay. So, the next item is capital reserve plan. So review of existing and proposed projects. So in your booklet, there's a, project ordinance.
Sir?
What are you on, what page?
So it's page 74. And it just pretty much, Stephanie mentioned earlier that our auditor recommends, or it's required, that we have separate funds for these projects. So we had to create separate funds for each project that we have. And so I won't go over the dollar amounts, but it's I think it's important for everyone to understand the projects that we have going on right now. Frankie knows them oh so well. So the first one, of course, is the EMS and fire main station. The next one is the EMS substation.
It goes from 72 to 79.
Yeah. Yes, in the back of the book. It's in the back of the book. On a project ordinance, it's a yellow tab. It's a yellow, yeah. I got it. Everybody, okay. So EMS fire main, EMS substation, our current water project, jail renovation project, which is supposed to be about $2.9 million. New jail construction, of course, we have.
Project ordinances.
Okay. I got it, go ahead, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
And so I'm on page 76 now
I got you.
for new jail construction. We've set that fund up to be able to pay Mosley and Bordeaux for the work that they're doing. South Oliver Tower project is the current communications tower project that we're in the process of purchasing. The next one is the code enforcement planning joint project with the city of Henderson. The other project is the city and county tower agreement tower project that you all approved a MOU. I believe it was last May. And our portion will be $375, but Mr. Kendrick Van has told me that there's a possibility that it will be increased, but we'll have a conversation at some point. And the other project is the senior center project. We have to do a sprinkler system in that in the senior center. So those are all the projects that we have going on right now. So that's why there was a significant increase in our budget this year. A lot of it was because of capital projects. So Anybody have any questions about?
Those monies have already been appropriated in this current budget.
Some of them, not all of it though, right? Yeah, not all of them. Mm-mm. So like, for example, the city of Henderson, the 375, even though that project is set up, it's not in this year's budget. No, we hadn't done that yet.
I guess I'm trying, I know we had like $7 million in budget amendments this year, and I'm trying to grab hold.
A lot of it was for, I remember, a lot of it was inmate cost. I believe we did a budget amendment for at least 2 million for inmates. So, yeah.
So I'm just trying to grasp all of that.
And we can get you the printout of the budget amendments. I know you requested that, so we can make sure you get that. So yeah, oh, that's not a problem. Anybody else have any questions about any of those projects that we have going on right now? Okay, so I want to touch just a little bit on funding sources and long-term debt considerations. So I don't want to have this conversation too prematurely, but I think it's a good time to go ahead and just start the conversation before your June meeting. Unfortunately, we wanted to plan for a $50 to $55 million jail, but the cost is going to be probably $70 million. And that's because a $50 to $55 million jail is only going to give us about 200 beds. And I think we all know we need way more than 200 beds in the detention facility. And I have the sheriff and the actual new jail administrator here if you all want to ask questions about the bed space that's needed for the new facility. But matter of fact, Mr. Washington, can you come up for a second? Curtis, you want to come up as well, please? We were hoping 196.
Yep.
So I just want to talk a little bit about bed space. You all right? Yeah, they're terrible. I know. They terrible. I tried, but so I just want to talk a little bit about bed space and how many inmates do we have out of county right now? Oh, wait a minute. You want to introduce Mr. Washington? I'm sorry.
Mr. Oliver Washington from down east. He was with Edgecombe County Sheriff Office, and he just come over here to join us. He'd been here before to assist us when we was in a bind. He's done a great job, and I convinced him not to retire, to come up here to help me out. He's my new jail administrator. I think he's doing a great job.
So I just wanted to have a conversation. How many inmates you got out of county right now?
About 65.
Okay, and how many in-house?
We got about 85 today.
Okay, all right. And so I think a question from the commissioners may be, why do we need a facility that has 296 beds?
Well, when you look at the projection with the crime activity, we're looking at that population is going up. And with the new law that they have put in place, that's going to cause some problems. Detainees will be in longer with the mental health status. They're not going to be giving them bonds like they used to. So that's going to create another problem for population. So with all those things being put in place, it's going to cause us a significant increase in the population in the near future.
You said how many beds? 200 and what?
290. Is it 296 is what we're planning for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I think it's
290.
290. I can't remember the number. Yeah.
New jail, looking at 290.
And so remember, this board did a study before I came on, I think it was 2022, 2023, Bordeaux and Mosley, they did a study and projected that we would need a 300 bed facility and not 200 beds. Halifax is currently building as well. I think their jail is 212 beds, and I think they're at 55 million. Yeah, I believe that's right. Is that right? That's what I thought. So we do have a sample payment schedule, amortization schedule. Oh, they have it already. And so just to put your eyes on what the numbers would look like in a debt service payment for a $60 million jail and a $70 million jail. I just want you all to see those numbers. And when you think about our current revenue stream, we do not have the revenue to support a payment right now, which we're hopeful that we can get some type of economic boost at some point. But if we had to make a debt service payment on jail right now, we would not have enough revenue. And of course, the other way to get revenue is to raise taxes. And I know we don't want to have that conversation today. I don't want to have that conversation today. But I think we just need to be prepared in the event that we don't experience some type of economic boom in our county that gives us additional revenue. So I just want to make sure I say that. I think it's smart to say that.
Well, I think previously we've been told that the average stay for our inmates is 300 days, while the state average is 100 days. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, so if we fix that issue, then that would give us fewer inmates.
No,
No?
no, it won't. Right now, the courtesy of the Henderson Police Department, North Carolina Probation Parole, Child Support Agencies, they are kind of holding back on servicing papers. Lieutenant Guzman, who does child support for Vance County, probably got 250 child support outstanding warrants in his threshold. Threshold for the county alone, not the city. We probably got over 600 outstanding warrants in our threshold to be served, orders for arrest, domestic warrants. So we prioritize domestic and school attendance law. That's what we're prioritizing, unless a victim come up to the sheriff's office to access to serve a particular warrants.
Did you say 600?
We've got over 600 warrants, yes.
To be served.
To be served, yes, ma'am.
And so the 300 beds ain't enough.
Ma'am?
300 beds ain't enough.
No,
Oh
so
my
we
God.
cannot build for the existing. We got to build for the future.
You're right.
Yeah.
You
And
right.
those,
Also, you want to consider too, the backup in the court system. And then the state prisons, they have a backlog as well as trying to get inmates into the state facility. So our backlog is being held up as well. So which means our stay for detainees is gonna be longer as well. So that's all across the state. Then the other thing you gotta consider, you got all the counties who basically are experiencing problem with bed space. And so everybody's looking to get more bed spaces for the population.
Is there any legislation floating around because of the new Irma's Law or whatever it was?
Arena's law.
Arena's Law?
yes.
Is there any legislation that the state might give some jail support?
Well, the Sheriff Association, we have lobbyists that we meet with the legislators when they convene, and we're pushing to get some changes in that to help the sheriffs with the overpopulation that we do have.
And that law is also affecting the federal population as well. I talked with one of the federal agents just the other week, and he was telling me that they're experiencing problems with bed space as well due to that new law.
Curtis, this sounds dumb to me, but if you got 600 people walking around and holding back and not serving, and you keep them out of jail, how come it can't be solved without putting them in jail?
Well, if I arrest them, then there's an order for arrest. An order for arrest.
You got 600 people that you can serve warrants to.
I got at least that many.
Okay, that many, but they're free.
If we were to go start picking them up, then they'll be at the jail.
They're not in jail. So we got to be able to solve the problem without putting them in jail.
Take them on just to the court.
That one?
Yeah.
Take them just to the courthouse.
And I think some of those could be non-violent charges as well. I would say more so the violent criminals are the ones that
Put them
will
in
pick
jail.
up.
Yeah, we're gonna put those folks in jail. He's talking about.
Just like child support. That's a non-violent crime, but it's still a warrant for arrest.
Yeah.
Child support order for arrest is still an order for arrest. That's a cash bond. Ain't no bondsman.
Well, the other thing is, during COVID, we basically emptied our jail. Correct?
We just weren't arresting people.
That's right.
Yeah, we weren't arresting people.
And you got to consider too, I don't know if you've given this any thought, but reason why that new law came into effect, because you had offenders who were being let out and being given bonds, going back out, recommitting crimes and committing serious crimes. And so that's why they're cracking down on that now, which is causing the increase of the population. So, I mean, all that has to be considered.
Yeah, because I saw a thing on the news the other day.
Yes.
Half the people they let out back in.
Back in, recommitting crime, and they're committing serious crimes. And so that's why the judges are catching heat, because they're giving people bonds. The magistrates are catching heat. So everybody's catching heat. DAs are catching heat because they're letting repeat offenders out who are going out committing murders.
So it's gonna take 5 years to build a jail, right? Is that about?
About 3.
And they said 2029. Didn't we say the end of 2029?
29.
What was that, Frankie? What was the end of 2029? Right. Yeah. So
If
3.5.
started Now.
Yeah. Right.
So we're doing this, well, we know we can't afford a jail, right? We can't afford to raise taxes, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. The payment doesn't start until it's built.
The what?
The payment doesn't start until it's built. We have to do interim financing. And the payment doesn't start until it's actually built. The payment on the detention facility.
So you're putting about $5 million, what you're proposing is to put about $5 million a year in a capital fund.
If we could. So we could do some cash down and not finance all of it.
So I mean, to me,
Mhm.
say after December, I won't be here. It'll be somebody else's issue. But you gotta pick your points there, and we've got to look at ways to cut funding. If we have to forego some other capital projects, if we don't build a fire station or EMS station or whatever it is, then we need to look at that, because the jail is a priority.
And I think it's $70 million because we kept kicking that can down the road, never picked it up and actually held it. And I think the same is going to be true if we don't build the EMS same station or main station. When it gets time to build, it's going to be 22 times what it's going to cost right now. So I think if we can perhaps juggle everything as we can, it'll be a lower price tag for the EMS main and the substation. But like you said, we got to eat the jail costs. I mean,
Yeah, we have no choice.
because we got to.
In the meantime, I am trying to evaluate, see how we can cut that money that we're spending on housing inmates at other facilities as well. When you talk about 2 million for that, and then the money we're put it into renovation of this jail, 5 billion. So we have to somehow try to recoup some of this money and trying to save money as much as we possibly can with overtime and with housing. And so we created another problem for ourselves. I guess Frankie can elaborate on that, but I just walked into this. And so they've decreased our bed population to 90 inmates. So even once the renovation is complete, we're not gonna be able to house but 90 inmates. So what that means is that we're gonna have to continue to outsource inmates at other
Until we
facilities,
build.
which is gonna cost more money, cost us money. And so even until we get the new jail built, we've got to somehow figure out how can we reduce that outsourcing of inmates so that we can get the expenditure down. And so trying to evaluate all of that. And then what do we do with this old jail once we move into the new jail to try to recoup some money? So I'm looking at how could we do that? And I got some things in mind that I've talked to some people already to try to do that, to help with that financing.
So what we spending a year on inmates now? Is it
A little over two, a little 2.2, $2.3 million. Yeah.
Penny right now is what, 400,000?
449. What's the penny? 449. Yeah, 449.
So
Yeah.
you're looking 8-cent tax increase.
To pay for the jail.
Yeah.
Yep. And another thing, Stephanie and I had talked about is any money that's proposed to go back to the fund balance at the end of the fiscal year should be put to the side for capital anytime we have any additional funds. And when we sell the shell building, that money is owed back to the county. I think that money should go into the capital reserve for the detention center. Yeah. So.
Well, I think, Renee, listen to what you said in terms, I support what you're going to put the money aside. I don't see us cutting EMS and the substation.
Oh, no. We should
Substation,
not
I'll tell
do
you
that.
why, because not anything against the folks in jail. We need to do something for the community. It looks like
Absolutely.
you're doing something positive for the community.
Yeah.
And the EMS station and the substation.
Substation is
are
important.
things that shows that we're doing something
I
that's a little different and everything. I know where you're going, Dan, and everything, but I just think that we need to do something for the public.
I agree.
And those are the kinds of things. I don't have anything against inmates, folks said, who committed crimes and stuff like that and everything. So, but I think our need is to say, okay, I look around us in terms of substation when people are building, they're doing things that we, like you said, we keep kicking it to the curb, kicking it to the curb. So I like to see us go with some positive things and figure out what you're saying, so how to cut and how to juggle and work with us through this crisis.
But, and also be reminded that it's not about doing things for the inmate, but it's about protecting the public. We're in the business of protecting the public and keeping them confined to the detention center. Is our responsibility to protect the public. And it's not so much as the inmates. We have to protect them from each other, from themselves, once we get them inside. But it's to protect the public. And when you have people committing crimes every day and serious crime, the public cry. Why aren't these people being locked up? Why aren't they being dealt with? And so that's what we're up against. And so you have to make a decision. How are we going to fund this? We gotta detain them.
But as Curtis would tell you, I'm a victim of crime. My house has been robbed twice and my car's been stolen one time and taken all to pieces. So,
Gracious.
I'm a victim of it.
Yeah.
They broke into my house, locked the dog in the bed, and did what they wanted to do. Stole my kids' clothes and everything. Curtis, I was working at Lowe's. Curtis came. I was at Vance taking the course, lost my keys. Someone waited till the lock was clear, stole my car, and stripped it on the railroad track near Dabney. So in terms of protecting me, and we never did find the people, right, Curtis? Never found them.
They say, right, Curtis?
Just the other day,
Yeah.
we was outside in front of the detention center, and they were shooting right across the street. On the fire side. So they came by, did y'all hear the shooting? Yeah, we heard the shooting.
Scary is awful.
We are here.
Any more questions for the sheriff and the major?
Thank
Thank
y'all.
you.
Thank y'all.
Good to meet you, Mr. Washington.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank y'all.
Leo, I'm not against the substation in Williamsburg, okay? I mean, that's something we desperately need,
Thank you.
but I am against building a fire station that we don't currently need.
Okay, so the next item on my report is, well, not the report, but on the agenda is other unfunded requests. So if y'all want to, I can go through these real quick. Or if y'all have any questions about any of
See your
them.
book as well.
What, the IT position, what was that?
It was where's Randall?
Host of-
I think it's a security administrator position, I think. Yeah, that's right. And well, we didn't recommend any new positions this year.
Is that something based on the hacking and so forth that occurred?
Where's Randall? I'll have to get Randall to hold on for a sec. I'll let him. Yeah, we'll let Randall explain for you.
Okay. I'll find it. I know, I want to use the F, the Franklin.
And you requested this before we had the system breach though, because you did it last year too, but yeah.
That's the same request I put in last year and I believe the year before.
Mhm.
It's for a network administrator position
Go on now.
that will help take some of my duties and cover those and handle the network at large, the email and other security services. We can probably get by another year without it, but at some point we will have to have that position because the workload has just increased to the point that it's not sustainable forever.
What is the risk to our IT systems without that position?
I think we're covered right now with current staff as long as we don't lose anybody. But if we do, it will be, that's one of the problems. I've got someone out for a week on vacation right now. That only leaves two of us, me and CJ, covering everything for the whole county. Three-man team is great, but it's hard to get good coverage if there's an emergency after hours with only three people. That fourth position really helps.
It was a regional cyber attack against the school system, the Canvas.
Yes.
And we just got it back yesterday. Well, I was so glad to have it today.
I have been watching that very closely. There was also a major attack last week against a multi-factor authentication from a vendor we actually looked at. I'm glad we didn't go with them. But the attacks are happening and it's more and more important to make sure someone is available around the clock if it happens and we have to respond immediately.
What was the cost of that position?
I'm not sure. I have no
You know
idea,
what?
I'll be
You
honest
know-
with you.
You know what it was?
Salary, starting salary for that network administrator position, I believe was 69,000. If we start at the low end, I don't know what the
With the
rest of
Frank is
added
in, it's
cost of
probably
that would be.
85, 90 or so, I would say.
Like I said, I think we can get by one more year without it, but at some point we will have to add that position.
Okay.
I was looking at the Franklin Vance one.
Rashid sent me an email asking, all counties to increase from, thank you, Rhonda, I'm sorry, to increase from 13,000 to 25,000.
Because, one thing I was in conversation, and like I said, they're a $1 million organization. They do a lot for the community that if they didn't fund it, it would be on us. And I think when I was in conversation with them, talking about going to the bank, you got 4 surrounding counties, and you don't even have $100,000 from each county to go to the bank and have something to stand on when they funding a lot of services that if they didn't fund, that we would be responsible for.
It would fall on the county.
It would fall on the county because they
And
do
their
a
payroll-
lot for the community, and I
Their
think
payroll is over $3 million a
yeah,
year.
yeah. So I was thinking additional $13,000 for I think they wanted each county to go.
Each county, he's trying to
25.
get it 25 from each county.
Yeah, and so I just thought it was a great idea.
Carol and I would like to see it funded.
Yeah, because of what they offer
Yeah.
people. They do a lot for the citizens in Vance County.
I'm gonna take a word out of your playbook.
Mhm.
Let's see what the other counties do.
What they say, see what other
They want to
counties.
see what the other counties do.
That's fine.
That's fine, but
That's
I would
fine.
like if the other counties, because like I said, they do a lot for the people, the citizens, paying homes and light bills and all that stuff. If they fall back on social services.
Okay.
So we're gonna do a dance into your playlist,
Yeah,
right?
playlist.
Okay.
So if you, but when you think about it, I know you all said that, but if you want to apply that same logic, do you want to wait to see what other counties do for carts as well? If that's what you all are discussing, I think you need to wait. I'm just thinking, if you're gonna apply that same logic, then you need to apply it to all the outside agencies that are funded from other counties. I just want to be fair.
Yeah,
So what are y'all thinking?
you're right. Be
We're
fair.
gonna wait to see what costs. We'd like to see it funded, but wait, to see what.
Yeah, because you're doing the same thing for the others.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
The carts thing to me is something, like I said, every needs assessment that we have, transportation is the main factor. And so
I don't have a problem with funding costs. The people that use cart depend on it.
Mhm.
There are people that don't have transportation, don't have means to get around, and they desperately depend on it. I see it run in the morning when I take the kids to school.
Oh, yeah, they run like crazy. They do. I rode on the bus during leadership Vance, and it's a rough ride, but
But when you don't have transportation, okay,
I'll be
when you
on
don't
it
have
too.
transportation, you need it and everything.
Right, you definitely paying for comfort.
Because I'm for funding them. I don't have a problem with funding.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure because you all said wait to other counties. I just want to be fair and consistent. That's
What
all
you
I'm
gonna do?
saying.
What you gonna do?
We can keep it like it is if y'all
Carts.
okay with it.
Yeah, I want to talk about cards. I just left.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they already decided to do 75,000.
Who did?
The commissioners.
Y'all gonna do the 75?
Same as last year.
We're gonna, he was asking for 79,000.
Mhm.
Right.
The budget that was requested was 49,000, 45,000.
Right.
Recommended 49, and we said to take it back to the 75,000
Mhm.
it was last year,
Mhm.
which means we're giving them 30,000 additional, $26,000.
So we
Yeah.
can give it to them, right? We're not
Yeah.
gonna see what the other gonna do, right?
So we're gonna give
Yeah.
them what?
Okay.
Our sheet is 13 too then.
We're gonna give them.
So yeah, just apply the same logic. That's all I'm saying. So y'all want to do Rashid 13?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just said, because they do a lot as well for the people, paying light bills.
From the little ones all
On
the way up
up,
to the
So
yeah,
what?
they taking care of a
Yes.
whole
26.
county as
Oh,
well.
yeah, 26.
Give them an additional 26.
Yeah, we do
for
need to
matching
email 'em.
grant.
They don't request their funds. We'll email them. Any other ones on the list that y'all want to discuss up under?
Ooh, thank you, Jesus, huh?
Ain't no other ones on the list up under other unfunded? No? Okay. Frankie, you want to talk about water?
Ma'am.
Page 204.
So, so I think our past 2 audits have showed that we have lost money in the water system. The city has guaranteed that there is not going to be an increase in the purchase of bulk water, which is good. Not so much for others that may experience an increase, but we will not experience an increase. But we do want to have a conversation about a small increase to the water rate. So frankly, you want to discuss the numbers that we have thus far, where we are?
I will. And we're gonna take it back to 23, 24 budget year. That year, from what revenue we got and what expenses we had, we lost $152,455. Last year, 24, 25 fiscal year, same thing, we lost $315,000. The depreciation is $417,000 a year. So I mean,
So,
we probably would have been okay.
and I believe the LGC allows that depreciation to be taken out. Is that correct?
I'm not sure, Stephanie. Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure that.
But one year, was it last year that we had all the repairs that had to be done? To
Yeah, we had a lot of repairs last year. And I typed up some stuff today just for y'all to look at our numbers and what increase we're talking about.
And all this money comes out of the general fund, right?
No.
It don't?
Water fund.
That's an enterprise fund.
The enterprise?
Yeah.
Oh,
It has
okay.
to support itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and sometimes we have to transfer from the general fund to support it
Okay.
though.
Mr. Kelly, I had to share with you. So we'll start at the top. The average number of meter services that we have right now, and this is broken down from our monthly report that we get. You see December, January, February, March, and I did an average of about 1,532 metered services. And you see the average usages with the average. And then the average monthly bill, and right now is the top one, and that is 0.01033 cent per gallon of water. And that is typical monthly payment or bill for a customer at this time of $65.19. We are looking at trying to increase it some, and as you see the numbers that we have below that, the 0.133, $75.42 a month. 0.1533, $82.23 a month. 0.1733, $89.04 monthly. And then if we were to double our regular bill to 0.02033, it'd be $99.26 monthly.
Who is this for me?
No, this is for the customer. If you continue on, the average income of each one of those is what we get monthly. And then you have a non-metered customer average price per month. And we have approximately 147 non-metered customers who are not paying, and that's been some of our conversations before. So we're missing that monthly cost of $4,410. So subtract that from your non-meter customers. So we should be getting about $52,750 monthly for non-metered customers.
And that's what we're getting now.
Yes, sir. And that's what we will be getting on non-meter customers, no matter if we change the cent increase or whatever. So the last part we have is if you take the raises that we were talking about doing and you compare what our annual fee would be at the end, and it goes, starting at the top is 0.1033, 0.133, 0.1533, 0.1733, and 0.233. I mean, if we were just to do just a little bit, you can see we can gain another $400,000 that would basically equal us out.
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping.
Plus we've got another 140 some taps.
Customers.
40 some customers coming on.
Coming up.
Yeah. And so our recommendation is for the third, which is 0.01533. Is that right, Frankie? Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. That would be the recommendation from staff.
And that would be
Uh-huh.
a $17 a month increase on
Customers.
bill.
Mhm.
That's not a good thing with a new system coming online. You know, I was looking at some information today. I think you sent us a thing that said that we're paying $360 per thousand or something like that.
It's at 0.3059
359
per gallon,
per
yeah.
gallon, which comes up to about $3.60 per thousand.
That's right.
The city cost of the water I guess the Carl Lake Regional charges the city is 48 cents a gallon. So that's where we're getting tattooed at.
Well, I know we're just not gonna be able to continue to maintain like we are. And I mean, I don't want to raise anybody's bill, but
Yeah. And when the LGC has a conversation with Stephanie and I that says you need to highly advise your board to increase your water rates, or you all will forever be on the, what is it? The unit assistance list, we need to have that conversation. Because the general fund can't continue to support an enterprise
That's what I
fund.
was saying, so the general, it's coming out the general.
It
fund.
does. We have to transfer funds. Yes, ma'am.
Shit, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
we
talking
do.
about.
Come out general fund, they're paying it anyway, so, right?
Yeah. And,
Customers,
yeah.
it's coming out of the fund that we contribute, right? So we're still paying it, right?
Yeah, well, that's true
Somebody's
too.
gonna charge us for it, right?
Yeah, and so I don't know that historically, when the general fund has transferred funds to the enterprise fund, there could have been an agreement between the water district board and the county commissioners that the water fund would be paid back as revenues were generated, pay the general fund back, but that's never been put in place here. But I think that's something that should be put in place in the event that the general fund has to support it.
There is a document to that effect.
Did y'all approve something?
Yeah, 2018, I think.
Oh, it was way before any of us. We can look at the commissioners' meetings and minutes and pull it, because whenever it starts to generate revenue, we should start paying the general fund back, for sure. 2018?
I believe it's what it was.
I can get DeWanda to
I've
look
got
up the
some
minutes.
on it.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I think we found that, 2 years ago, I believe it was, when we started talking about the amount of money, and there was a discrepancy
Mhm.
between what we had calculated and what was in the minutes from the resolution that was passed.
Okay, all right. We'll look up those minutes.
Bristol was just real high. And
You talking about paying it back, general fund, right?
Uh-huh, yeah, we're supposed to.
That's typical of a
Yep.
new water system.
Mhm.
It takes, I mean, I think Franklin County, it took them 20-some years to pay theirs back.
Yeah, we could just pay back over time. Yeah.
So, I mean,
Mhm.
it's not
Yeah.
uncommon.
Right.
and we can expect a rate increase from the city next year.
We understand that.
We avoided it this year. We got lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, Paler has already said that rates will be increasing. I was in a meeting with him and he said that.
One anyway.
Now,
So how's your
have
biggest
we
one?
increased the water rate since we started the system?
Mm-mm.
That I
No,
know of.
That's what I'm thinking.
nope.
Not at all. And I have reached out to the School of Government, and they are actually working on us a water rate study.
Mhm.
We're trying to get it for this budget year, but we couldn't get
Yeah.
it that quick.
Mhm.
But they will have us one for next year.
Yeah.
But we wanted to bring this recommendation to you.
Yeah, I think we should start this year. We really should. So we just want y'all's feedback on that.
I'd like to go with the number one. That gives us about $260,000. Is that right?
You're saying going to the 0.133?
0.133.
Yeah, that'll give us about 100 and, looks like 198, something like
Right
that.
at $200,000.
Is it gonna fix the issue? Help
Yeah,
fix it?
that'll fix the issue. I think
Mhm.
is where.
Do what for us?
Yeah, because you don't want your water fund to have excess revenue. Not too much anyway. So
To get us out of it?
the second option, correct?
133?
Mm-hmm.
He's saying the first option.
No, and the first option is where we already are, which is 0.01033. Which one?
Yeah, that's where we are.
That's where we already are. That's the current rate.
So the second-
So you want to keep it the same?
1333.
Yeah, so the second one.
Right.
Okay, all right. So this one.
So that would be an extra revenue of $188,068.04.
Off the current taps, then we'll have an additional 140 taps
Mhm.
coming in.
Right. That's right.
So that'll bring it up close.
That works for us.
And I still have people calling me every day about getting taps.
Okay.
So we're gonna do I think on WIZS next Tuesday.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Go do an interview. Yep.
That works for us. What he's.
I'm happy.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so now it's, y'all have any
I'm satisfied.
questions about anything that was in your, number 7, commissioner discussion and, guidance. I think you already gave us guidance on the additional request.
I have one on the central services. I think it's on page 40.
Central services.
Okay.
The vehicle fleet management program went from 378,000 to 627,000. Why is that?
You know what tab, Dan?
It initially started. Page 40.
40.
Page 40,
I know which tab.
it's account 500, 164.
On the
Yeah. So
And we're replacing more
so we have to
vehicles.
Continue to pay for the
general fund expenses.
additional cost.
Yeah, you got it.
So the issue is that we had to get about, how many cars we get, Frankie? About 25?
Well, last year,
Yeah,
32.
32 cars. So we still got to pay the payments for that, plus additional vehicles we'll need, which is how many vehicles we get this year? 19? 13?
It's actually, 21 this year.
It's
How many
21.
going to the sheriff's office?
So
And
we're
12 of
adding-
them sheriffs.
So are we,
So we still got to pay the current cars we just got this fiscal year, and we're adding more cars next fiscal year,
Replacing out all vehicles.
replacing, and we're on a replacement cycle.
And sell the
And-
county vehicles that we have.
And understand also that includes maintenance of these vehicles.
Right. Mhm.
so how much did the LGC approve us for on this?
I don't think there was a specific amount. Yeah, there wasn't a specific amount. They just had to approve the contract because we were going into contract for an amount over, I can't remember what it,
You're good. That's really good.
any over 50, anything, there wasn't a specific amount. It was just anything that was over like $50,000, if I remember correctly. But it was not a specific amount like threshold. I can pull up the requirements of the,
I guess, and I have people tell me all the time, we've got vehicles everywhere now. How many vehicles did we have in fleet before we went to the lease stuff?
The same amount of vehicles, I believe,
yeah,
if not more. They were just, I mean, you just had cars that are 15 and 20 years old versus cars that have been replaced when they should be replaced. This is what program is actually designed to do, to replace cars that need to be replaced, and we can sell the cars we currently have and get some equity off of it. We can't sell a vehicle that we've had for 30 years and try to get equity off of it.
So we still coming to the good, doing the way we're doing it, right? That's
Oh,
what you're
God,
saying?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And like Jeremy said.
It
this
includes maintenance.
Maintenance.
Yeah, includes
Right.
maintenance, I got you.
So we pay a monthly fee on our lease vehicles for maintenance. So when we take a car to have a transmission replaced, Enterprise pays for it.
Mhm.
That's not
Right.
an additional cost to us.
Right.
On the new vehicles, on the current ones that Enterprise does not have leased, we're paying for that.
Mhm.
We paid, was it 16,000?
Yeah.
Last month.
Yeah.
Mhm.
in maintenance,
Yeah,
just on vehicles
yeah. And so,
that we own.
and the requirement from the UAL says that, units on the assistance list must, have LGC approval for the lease, acquisition, or construction, no. UAL units must obtain LGC approval of finance and contracts for the purchase, lease, or lease with an option to purchase motor vehicles, in the amount that exceeds, $50,000. So anything over 50. And so we're good. And you asked a question about vehicles. And so what we chose to do is we got 3 county fleet vehicles for employees to use when they're traveling. So we don't have to reimburse them for mileage anymore. So that's a savings as well in each department's budget because they're required to check out one of those vehicles if it's available. So
And majority of the vehicles we got were for the sheriff's office. So of course, you're going to see a lot of sheriff's office cars around,
absolutely.
'cause that's what they need vehicles.
Yeah, because their vehicles were very old and beat up. Y'all have any more questions about any of the items in the budget? No? Oh, so we handled everything in one night. Okay, so we'll make the adjustments that you all requested. And so we'll cancel Monday's budget work session. And if any commissioners would still like to come in and do a line by line, we are open to that. We just need to schedule it. But I plan to bring this back to you all for consideration and approval at your June 1st, 2026 meeting.
Don't we have a public hearing that night?
Yes.
Do you think the public, given their current concerns, will have a problem if we talk about it, approve it 5 minutes later?
Well, this has been the county's practice for years, so I don't know why we would change from that. I followed the same budget schedule as has always been in place. So if you all want to explore something different next year, we can, or if you want to schedule something different, it's up to y'all. But we had a public hearing in January as well. We do 2 public hearings for the budget, so.
I know last year we had a special call meeting and the year before that we did also.
Only because my budget wasn't, but we had some issues last year. And the last year before that, we were dealing with the shelter in May of 2024. So it's been unique circumstances the past 2 years. This year's different. So, but it's totally up to the board in what direction y'all want me to go in.
Any more questions? Session official adjourned.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.